Hey, good afternoon, people. We are live. We are going to have a little paint and chill before tonight's epic weekly Friday sci-fi game,
Yeah,
and I'm joined by Brian from Weird World War II,
that's
the
me.
one and only. And I'm going to adjust my lighting a little bit because I am very dissatisfied.
I don't know. You need the bad disco lighting so you look better.
Yeah, my middle boy. No, what's my? I think it was my middle boy. He's in junior high now, and I can embarrass him. When he was a little kid, when he was little, he's like maybe 5. I asked him one year what he wanted for Christmas, and he said he wanted a disco ball. I said, a disco ball? What do you want a disco ball for? He said, he said, so we can party. Hoop, hoop.
Hell yeah!
And I was a little worried that he would turn out a little less than Mask, but he's all boy.
That's cool.
So my fears were largely unfounded. We're also joined by that darn cat,
Hey man, I like disco. Oh
Incognito.
man,
Disco.
hell yeah, dude! Ooh, ooh.
Hey man, I was in high school when disco was at its height.
I gotta
Damn,
tell you,
you're old.
I asked someone once what made disco so popular, and I
The
think the
chick.
answer that I got was cocaine. Lots and lots of cocaine.
I don't know, man. The chicks dug it, and
And we
you
dig
want to
chicks.
you want to
That's
hang out
Chicks
with a
always
girl.
dig. Chicks
so
always
by
dig
the transit
dancing.
property,
Yeah, women love. So, okay, for all you single guys out there,
women
if you
love
want to
dancing.
really get a girl to be into you, go dancing with her. Women, you're right, Kat. Women love, every woman
Hey,
loves
TTT,
dancing.
jump on in. We're painting. We're talking games. We're talking pop culture, and this is going to be a pre. That light sucks. We're going to do a pre-game stream. Talk about games, gaming, and all things thereunto. Um, I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone that is participating in Wargamer Mutt's September challenge is doing well and painting. No pressure. The object of the game is just to get paint on plastic, metal, or resin. Um, have fun doing it. Some of us like to just to shoot the breeze while we paint and talk. And here we are. Um, I did get a text message from Mr. Mark. He says that he's got to go to a football game, high school football game, because his daughter is dancing. And you got to take care of your kids first and go to your
Dance.
kids' events, man. No, there's no game in the world that's worth it if you're not unless you're playing the game with family. I know that Brian talked about that this morning, getting your significant others involved with gaming. To me, that's like a unicorn. I love Mrs. Paints minis dearly, but she's got about as much desire to game as a fish has
You
to ride
know,
a bicycle.
you can't guilt her. It's like, baby, I go dancing with you. I take you to all those nice places you like to go. Play a game with me. I mean, this is like a relationship, right? She's like,
Yeah.
you can guilt her a little bit, man. It's okay. They
No.
guilt us all the time, man.
You know what? You know, Mr. Cat here knows my wife very well, and he knows that she's not really one to have me pack my bags and go on a guilt trip. In the 20 plus years we've been married, always
20.
been she's always been very she's always been very good about not. If anything, it's the opposite. She encouraged me to take a little bit of time to sit down. In fact, I when I got back into gaming after a 20 something year hiatus, uh, it was during COVID, and all I wanted to do was have something to do while everything was closed. So I picked up a box of minis and tried to teach myself how to paint, and that was really it. And now we've got all this technology we've managed to harness. if only we had had this technology in 2000, we could have been gaming all this time. But
Oh yeah.
this is a relatively new. In fact, a lot of ways we have COVID to thank for a lot of this stuff.
That's true.
The proliferation of Steam not Steam of Zoom and Skype and the real push to have high-speed internet at home, both for folks that work from home. Fiber getting pushed in almost every neighborhood in the country.
Yeah,
That's good. It's good for people that do what we do because it allows us to talk and share. It's really it's something that can unify nerd culture.
nerds.
Nerd culture.
I'm a nerd. I am a nerd.
And so,
Well, here's a funny thing. You talk about nerd culture. It wasn't
I'm a
called
geek.
nerd culture or geek or any of that stuff, right? It wasn't. Those words were always disparaging.
Oh yeah.
And
I always wore it with pride, though. I always wore those labels with pride, though.
yeah, you struck me as the kind of guy. You had a lot of pride there, Brian.
Shut up.
no, here's the thing is, if you look at war gamers were never looked down on the way
No.
geeks and nerds were. If you were into wargaming, that was just a thing you did. It was like being into auto racing or any other thing where there's an activity involved with a craft, right? And you think about auto racing. Oh, well, what's the craft in that? Back in the day, there was a dirt track about 20 miles away, and every Friday and Saturday night, they had stock car races.
Where was that?
Out in Aravaipa?
Really?
Yes. In the 70s, there was,
awesome.
and everybody and his brother, everybody and his dog had an old car that they fixed up and ran in the races. And they were always beat up, and they were all, because it was a dirt track, a lot of sliding, a lot of drifting before drifting was cool.
Everybody's getting pelted with dirt.
Oh, yeah. Well, the stands were on the two straightaways. And they had old bleachers from schools. When they replaced them with aluminum bleachers,
Yeah.
they took all the old wood and homemade bleachers and put them out there, and then and people would. It was a giant, but it was since everybody worked on their own cars, or your brother-in-law worked on it, or your cousins worked on your car, whatever. There was a craft involved with it. It was cool. Wargaming was the same way. If you wargamed, you painted your little lead soldiers to represent the army, and then when you did the battle, you'd have the huge battle mat. You'd have the little the poker things that shoot your guys around.
Well, to be fair, most war gamers back in the day were historical war gamers.
Right.
So
Yes, exactly.
It's okay if it's historical, but when there's Space Marines and
Well, hold on a second. Let's look at that culture too. I mean, there are pictures of Peter Cushing, Grand Moff Tarkin,
Napoleonic stuff. Yeah.
Napoleonics. Credence, but even in the early and mid '80s, at the dawn of Games Workshop, Warhammer was punk rock.
Yeah.
It's not punk rock anymore, but
it hasn't been for years now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't.
It was counterculture. It was satire. It was.
It's true.
It was 2008.
Oh yeah.
It was.
You look at.
It was England. It was England. There was that whole anti Thatcher, anti-establishment. England in decline. The death of the empire. That feeling was very definitely prevalent.
Yeah. The sun finally sets on the Commonwealth, or on the English Empire.
Right.
That was their big thing. The sun always shone on
the sun never set
on the British Empire.
On the British Empire.
All over the world.
Post-colonialism. Anyway, that's not the point. But that
has an effect. That has an effect. That whole the British Empire has a huge effect historically on what's going on now with the anti-colonialism.
Oh yeah,
Right. But
that
You
was
know,
really
we're talking about
culture.
board gaming.
yeah. That
I
was
thought
post
we were
World War
talking
One.
about
That
your
was kind of
culture.
like post World War One. The fucking French and the Brits and the the Ottoman Empire.
Don't
blurred
say
apart.
Brits. You say British. That's racist.
Oh my God, that's right. I forgot the British people, the race of the British people. I'm such a racist saying Brit. Crazy.
I will call you out on that.
I'm sorry, people. I'm so racist. I need to flog myself.
Yes, you do.
You do that every morning.
Do that on my personal time, right?
Yeah.
My work time.
You in the first thing in the morning when you shake hands with the unemployed.
I got a job, dude.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your the bishop. You know,
I got you. Flog the bishop.
When you beat it like it owes you money.
Hey, I thought you said you purposely told me to make this a friggin' G-rated show.
I said PG-13.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say you broke your own thing right there.
I am a hypocrite, but I mean, I was just trying to avoid some of the more overt stuff that we got the last time we had a stream from the two friends of ours.
Dude, you got to be careful with those guys because there's no filter.
You're right, and on a live stream, and I like those two guys a lot, but my
lord, they're great. But yeah, you definitely have to. You don't wear your monocle or be by any kind of suit when they start talking because you'll go, I never splash. Monocle in the suit.
I'm just worried about getting canceled by the Oprah Winfrey crowd.
Shit. I don't know, dude. Oprah's getting a lot of flack, man.
Well, yeah.
Accusations of what do they call them? Where you like guide people into doing something.
Well, it's what happens when you hang out with Jeffrey Epstein for years.
It's true.
And Harvey Weinstein and everybody else in that crowd. That is a sufficiently nasty baby poop brown. It's perfect.
Is that
what are you working on right now, Bo?
Is that your cleaning water?
No, it's this. This is Vallejo Game Color Scrofulous Brown.
Scrofulous.
I am painting up this. Mr. Cat sent me an old metal.
Oh, that one.
It's a Warhammer Fantasy Battles wizard of some kind.
Ah, is it a battle wizard?
He's
circa 1990.
He looks vaguely Asian.
Yeah, because of that hairstyle thing that really works for him. You know, making him Asian.
And so I am trying to.
That was given to me in like 1990, 1991, and when it was brand new. He is like 28 millimeter to the top of his head.
Yeah, he's
not to his eyes, not to his nose, not to his shoulder, but to the top of his head. He's 28 millimeter.
Okay. That Scrofulous Brown is actually very, very yellow. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to base coat with the orange like I did with the other monk.
Now, is that his clothes, the shoulders, the shoulder pad thing?
Base coat, it's very the Scrofulous Brown is very, very yellow, which is fine. What I'll do is I'll base coat over it with the burnt orange, and then I'll highlight with the regular orange, and then I'll do the highest highlights with the Scrofulous Brown. It'll work. It'll look pretty good.
That's his shoulder things, right? The big
poofy shoulder. But the Scrofulous Brown is
the whole thing. He's got those big wide shoulders that stick out, and then it goes all the way down his chest to just past his belt line.
I'm going to base coat with Pro Acryl's burnt orange, which is a dark orange that gives pretty good coverage. It's the same brown. It's the same orange that I used for my Gene Stealers.
Orange for Gene Stealers. What? Orange for Gene Stealers?
For the miners, dude. For the oh shit! Now you're gonna make me dig one out. You're gonna make me dig one out.
Are you talking about the people in the orange jumpsuit?
Yeah. Okay. So this is some of the Gene Stealer, the neophyte Gene Stealers.
Well, that could be anybody. It's just like a hybrid, right?
Yeah, he's got the Gene Stealer head though.
Yeah. That you can just Gene Stealer anybody.
Yeah, but look, that's the orange.
Oh, okay. It's just the color you chose. Okay.
Well, what are you getting all up in my grill for then?
I thought you said Gene Stealers, like you're coloring your Gene Stealers orange.
No, I colored my
usually,
Gene Stealer neophytes with orange. They have orange space.
You didn't say neophyte. You said Gene Stealer. Like I was thinking, like claws and.
Oh, you were thinking of the crazy alien looking.
Yeah, the pure strain.
Oh,
right.
Well, I did their heads lavender in that color, so.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying.
See those? Now those I remember when Space Hulk board game first came out. That was pre 40K in the US.
Yeah.
It was the Space Hulk and another board. And they were both board games.
Rogue Trader came out.
Rogue Trader, that's the one.
Yeah, Rogue Trader came out before Gene Stealer did.
Yeah, that was 89, 90, 91, somewhere in that time frame. I don't remember exactly when.
I think it was 89. 40K came out. Rogue Trader 40K came out in 87.
In the US?
Yeah. They
really
at the same time, yeah.
I didn't see, because we didn't see any of that kind of stuff in Tennessee till that's when I was in the Army.
Yeah, we had a badass game store, comic shop in our town, Lone Star Comics. And yeah, he's like, well, Buddy Saunders was the guy who owned it. He was like really like known in the biz and shit. And he got all the cool shit from like England and his shops. So I always had access to. I lucked out. I had access to all that shit.
Well, we had the local store outside of Fort Campbell. There were actually two, one in Hopkinsville up in Kentucky, and then one down on 41A just like 3 miles south of the South Gate, the gate number 1 at Fort Campbell. And they were owned by the same people, but the one in they're in outside of Clarksville, between not Clarksville, but not Fort Campbell. The guy that managed that had connections all over. He knew game designers, and he had been pen pals with all kinds of people. He was at the time almost 50.
Damn.
And I was 27 then. Damn. That was 88.
You in your 60s?
I am 60 currently.
60?
It's funny because, in those days, like I said, in those pre-internet days, realistically, to know somebody that had any kind of connections in that industry seemed magical, But also in those days, you could go to a con and run into somebody that was famous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, at least successful.
And
now the internet, you could literally run into somebody, internet famous on a stream or in a YouTube video or email or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. So this guy Ken Hawkins, he had been pen pals with like Luzacci from the game distributor. He knew it. They were on a first name basis. He knew guys from all these different because he worked in the game store and he was the one that did the ordering. He knew who all the distributors were, and he was on a first name basis with a bunch of them.
That's interesting.
What? I bet you early TSR times. I bet you, the comic shops were talking to Gygax, like, "Hey man,
yeah.
I need a couple of your books." He's like,
call him up on the phone and say, "Hey Gary, when's the new product coming out?" "Oh yeah, it'll be out in thus and such."
Typewriter right now. Give me a second.
Yeah. I'm gonna send it to the editors. Oh wait, no, he didn't do that.
No, hell no, he didn't.
Yeah, you can tell he didn't.
He tried real hard though, but some of that got through.
But you know, so yeah, in the old days, back in you know, I when I was in Germany in 86, 87, early or late through most of 88.
What unit were you in? The first armor?
I started.
Hey, don't
No,
talk.
I was in 250th Transportation Battalion,
Okay.
which later changed to when there was a reorganization of 5th Corps, and we were in an AVIM, Aviation Maintenance Battalion. That's what we were. Was an AVIM, the 270th Battalion or 250th Battalion.
What were you working on? Like choppers?
Yeah,
Mohawks?
yeah, we did all the helicopter. We serviced as a battalion. We serviced all the helicopters. So we did Chinooks and Hueys and Cobras and Kiowas, which are trash.
What about the Loaches, the OH
and
ones?
And we had the OH-1,
Yeah.
OH-1.
Yeah.
The scout plane, the 2-engine, because it had the engines in it.
Yeah,
the Mohawk. Yes, the Mohawk.
Those are cool, man. I always like those things.
And it's because they have the same engine as the Huey.
Oh, did they? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they came to us whenever they had to have engine work done, or they had to have certain kinds of structural or avionics work.
Well, that's cool.
Because they were beyond the scope of the unit to fix. So we would get all the, for instance, if your engine's bad and you can't fix it on the unit level, you would put it in an engine container, ship it to us. We'd fix it, or we would ship a different engine back to you.
Gotcha.
We would do an exchange. We always had like 5 engines sitting in the hangar so that you could, when someone sent us an engine, we would just send them another engine that's already been repaired. And then we would fix that engine, and then it would go into our inventory and sit there until someone else exchanged an engine. But we were going through engines. We would be working on 8 or 9 or 10 engines at a time.
Wow.
And then they came out with the Blackhawk and the Apache at about the same time they entered inventory. The Apache first, and then the Blackhawk. So we were working on those engines too.
Did you transfer like out of the military into civilian avionics when you got out, or did you retire from the military?
I was an engine man.
Uh-huh.
And when I got out in 90, like so many things in the Army, your experience means nothing in the civilian world.
Oh, that sucks.
So I couldn't get a job in aviation in the civilian world.
Huh.
Which was a shame because I was damn good engine mechanic.
Yeah, that sucks.
But so yeah, I knew a guy there who was Sergeant Marvin Johnson. I'll say his name. Marvin Johnson. I haven't seen him or heard from him since. And he was a pen pal of the guy that wrote Cyberpunk. Now I can't think of his name.
Oh,
Wow. I never got into Cyberpunk.
But he was pen pals with a bunch of guys because he was 5 years older than I am. And
65, folks.
And he knew people. He'd been playing games since he was like 15. I didn't find it, which is like a lot earlier than I did.
Right.
He was, being 5 years older. I was like,
Shadow and Sun. Jump in here, Shadow and Sun.
I was like 10.
Jump in and get your pens. We're supposed to be, sort of like talking about, games and gaming, but conversations have a way of taking on a life of their own. So
yeah,
conversations are conversations.
I understand that.
So there's a lot of guys that used to be. You were friends, personal friends with game designers and with distributors and with, all these people in the industry, you'd be personal friends with them because the community was so small.
Right.
Yeah.
You look at
least in terms of like a real, I mean, I'm not talking about WotC, Hasbro, that bullshit. But like, real games and gamers, I found that the YouTube has become very has almost egalitarian, in that you find guys from smaller companies that are actually approachable.
Yeah.
And it's made people more approachable. And again, I'm not talking about like the BS from WotC Hasbro, because that doesn't even count anymore. WotC Hasbro is a multinational conglomerate that owns pretty much every IP from my childhood. Literally,
Yeah.
I can't name an IP, at least as far as the toys go, that
toys and games.
So
board games.
What?
Board games. There are so many board games that Hasbro has bought up the company and then discontinued the board game because it's a competitor to their
things like G.I. Joe, Mask,
yeah,
Transformers.
But you look at they've done the same thing with all these, and they discontinue the product that they didn't create. Even though they're super popular, people would buy these products, board games, toys, all this stuff, but they don't produce them because it's a competitor to their own original IP that nobody wanted or asked for.
I don't know. The market is so saturated right now, and we're also limited with time and money, that it would be almost impossible for me to go out and buy a board game, and especially since so few board games to me have such limited replayability.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because sometimes I spell board game BORED. Technically, nobody wants or asks for any IP.
Well,
I don't know. There's some again properties from my childhood that I would love to see. I know that Larry Hama, I think, is still doing G.I. Joe.
Yeah, he is. I freaking love that dude. I've met him a few times. That's the kind of guy you can sit with and just talk to. He is amazing, dude.
So think about guys, but I know that Hasbro's got a lock on.
Nick from British Legion, man.
Transformers.
So check this out. I don't know if you know who British Legion is. That's Nick. He has a badass channel. But anyway, Nick runs a game shop in the UK.
Yeah.
He also, check this out. He's a GW guy, which, that's what sells. But he's also a train guy. That's pretty cool. There was so in the city I live in Temple, Texas, they got a huge train yard here. I think it's Southwestern.
Right.
But they have so we get train shows here all the time, like train, like modeling train shows. There was one last weekend and I damn missed it. I meant to go to it. I forgot about it. But yeah.
So you could pick up some cheap terrain?
Hell yeah, dude. O-scale, man. That's what you want for 28 million.
Yeah,
dude.
Mike Pondsmith. That's his name. Yeah. He created Cyberpunk. Not the whole genre, but his game was one of the first true Cyberpunk games that's actually Cyberpunk.
Yeah, wasn't it who coined that phrase? Wasn't it the guy who did Blade Runner?
No, it was
Cyberpunk was there
was the book. Hold on a second. It was Technomancer.
It might have been Johnny Mnemonic or Technomancer, but there were like 3 authors that were writing books that are interesting.
I swear it was the guy who did Blade Runner. The guy I can't remember his fucking name. Dick. Yeah, I think it was Dick. Oh, it was Chadwick?
You're talking about the guy that wrote the original book?
Yeah.
Jump in and make your argument.
Hey Nick, if you're still on, dude, I need to get with you and do an interview with you, bro. Oh yeah, all you guys like Bo and Shadow. If you guys want to be interviewed in the as one of Weird War Weirdos, you guys are more than welcome to. Cat.
I'm not a weirdo though, Brian.
Yeah, I'm just a normal tiger.
The bathroom stall said, brother.
I'm just a normal tiger living my best tiger life. I don't have time for all that.
All that kind of stuff.
I got, I gotta go out and stock my food and everything. It's not.
I gotta sleep all day and be up for 2 or 3 hours at a time.
That's right. Go lounge in the water. Maybe catch a crocodile.
Shadow's like, sorry, Brian. That'll impede on my napping time. Shadow's like, it's a no go, dude. It's nap time right now, man.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even go to the gym today. I was freaking feeling it. I got home from work and I was just
in chat.
Yeah, I see it. Justin's just being Justin. He's got to be. I bet when he was a kid, his mom would say to him every day, "Your friends may think you're cute and funny, but I don't."
Or she's like, "Don't you say an effing word." I think it was more like that.
I know.
Don't say effing word A.
The tiger mask, and he's less weird than I. One of us, gooble gobble, one of us.
Peter, you're playing with us.
Peter, you're playing with yourself.
He was not. He was playing with the boys, with the Wild Lost Boys.
Yeah, I remember.
Never dug that.
What?
That movie always freaked me out a little bit.
I was like, man, if I was like could fly and shit, I wouldn't be hanging out with a bunch of weirdos wearing their pajamas and shit. Weirdos.
Well, you got.
I know the story and all the meaning behind it. It wasn't interesting. I'd rather watch Star Blazers or some shit.
I think everyone should. I mean, from a creative standpoint, from a world building standpoint, Hook is a good story. Is a good movie to watch because it's another example that's different from a world, a setting that you could role play in that's different from other settings.
Are you talking about Hook, like the movie?
Yeah. You look at the setting that exists and the rules of the world.
I did not. I don't know if let me see if I could put the link in the. I wonder if I could put the link in the chat. I don't know if I could do that.
I think you put it on the. I got on through the Discord.
I know, but I didn't send the link to everybody in the Discord.
Okay. Just special.
I know. I have. Since I have two screens, I have one screen and I have another screen, and I have the stream in one, and I'm watching the stream on YouTube in the other to pay attention to chat.
Yeah, there's a video. I don't know if it's kind of almost a conspiracy theory type video about the hidden symbolism of Peter Pan, and there's some frightening stuff going on in Peter Pan, especially Peter Pan's first appearance. What was it called? Like the white child or swan or something like that. Peter Pan is born and he can fly as a baby. And he flies off and hides in the woods until he's a toddler. And then he flies home and his mom doesn't recognize him and had another kid, moved on and left him because he's not a baby anymore. there's some scary stuff going on.
So
Now
check
you're
this out.
talking about
all the pirates that Peter Pan kills were Lost Boys that abandoned him.
Ooh, now there's an interesting thought.
Check this out, guys. So get away from Peter Pan because it's dumb.
It's not
Alien.
dumb, it's an interesting adventure movie.
I just watched this thing about Alien. Okay, Alien, the original Alien. Okay, now you remember when the chick that freaks out at the end. What? Anyway, the girl that gets at the very end, you know, the black guy gets killed trying to protect her, or trying to kill the alien. You know what I'm talking about? You guys?
Yeah, because there are two women. Sigourney Weaver's character, and then the other woman.
Yeah, Cartwright's. But anyway, so so this is the story. So they weren't sure how to end her, you know, how she died, right? And she has this really weird kind of drawn out like scream in that scene. And so check this out. So this is a little R-rated, but they're saying that the alien actually rapes her. And this is the setup. In the story, the character in the dossier from Aliens, you can see it. She has a sex change, okay? She's like a trans person. And again, this is back in the Aliens, like Alien. This was her character. So they're theorizing
1979.
Yeah.
No. These are aliens.
What they're theorizing.
No,
Alien. So they theorize that the alien has never encountered a woman, right? And it's at that point where it sees that this isn't a man, right? And it starts to act different. It doesn't just kill her. It like comes up to her and puts his whatever. There's a little bit of it draws out a little bit longer. And then when it realizes that she's had a sex change, right? She doesn't have the reproductive bits. He kills her. But that's when it starts to hunt Sigourney Weaver, Ripley, because she's a woman. And they're theorizing like the whole alien thing is about like forcible impregnation. Like the face huggers basically rape you, impregnate you, and all that. So it's saying that the xenomorphs actually can procreate almost like a mammal in certain, you know, whatever. But it was just weird because I never even heard of that shit. But it makes sense, man. It like that's why it didn't kill Ripley. It was kind of coming up to her, you know, and he didn't really respond until he was forced to. So the whole like kind of conversation was that it was actually it never seen a woman before, and it was trying to like mate with her. So I'm like, whoa.
So that was the alien trying to put its moves on her.
Yeah. And he's like, wait a minute, you don't have the plumbing anymore. Kill.
Now, see, that sounds like something that was invented in the last 5 years.
No, dude. It was like all that was written, like in the
where
dialogue, in like even what's his face, the director Scott was saying that, you know, we weren't sure how we were going to, because originally the actress said that they filmed all these different things, right? But from the script that she had, that she would end up hiding and like she dies of fright is basically how she dies in the movie, right? Originally, but in editing, like the leg that the alien tail wraps around, it's not her. It's when Stockton, it's Stockton's leg from that scene where he gets killed. Dean Stanton's character. He that's his leg. So they make that whole scene in post through editing. And there was different ways they were talking about like the black guy like burned her on accident trying to kill the alien, and there was like the alien just killed her. But when you see her, she's hanging. She's like, you just see her naked leg, like limp, just kind of floating, like she's hanging up. And what they were saying is that the alien was starting to drag her away to do what he needs to do. And then Yaphet Kotto's character got involved and he kills him. And then the alien realizes that it ain't going to work anyway. And he just kills her when she's halfway like in the grate or the grill or whatever. So I should give you guys the link. It's interesting. It's a great like character study to think about. But no, the character, if you want to look at that bio, when Ripley is on Earth and she's being debriefed about, you blew up this and da 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 da.
That's in that in the second one?
Yeah, in the Aliens, the second one. Behind her, they have like all the dossiers of the crew going up, whatever, right? And I guess in the special edition, they actually show those dossiers, like in some special edition or whatever, like what was actually written. And it says that her character was almost like at youth, she was from male to female. And it was just like, strange. I never even heard of that stuff. And but Scott even talks about it, like, yeah, we were, he actually kind of talks about like the alien being able to procreate itself, because it's like when they made Alien, the cut scenes with the egg cut scenes, like the eggs were forming from Dallas and the other guy when she fought them, and it was talking about like that alien's able to do that, like transform them into eggs, but it needs like a host. The facehuggers need a host. It doesn't matter if it's male or female or whatever. But the xenomorph, supposedly, whatever xenomorph it came from, like humanoid or whatever, it could procreate in that way or some shit. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, I'm done.
Well, you definitely made it weird.
Yeah, I'm thinking more gross as opposed to interesting. But that's me.
No, I mean, it was just like, I'm a huge Alien fan. I had never even heard of that. But when you look at the scene and you think about that stuff, I'm like, yeah, that might be, because she has that really long, kind of drawn out, like gurgle, and it's like this huge. It lasts, and it wasn't just like Gennard, I'm dead,
like everybody else.
Yeah, like everyone else got killed, like whoosh, mouth breaks your skull, you're done. But hers was just kind of like drawn out
and off screen.
Yeah, off screen.
Because that's what I remember about her death, is that it's off screen. You don't know what the alien does to her to make her make all those noises, but
So
it's when you're doing stuff off screen. Well, it's like the video that I sent to Bo.
Yeah. No, it's about what to do with characters when they're off screen.
Well, in this case, it's considered the where's the video at? Is it that one? Nope. That one? Maybe? Nope. That one? I got a bunch of tabs open, so there it is. It's Trope Talks by Overly Sarcastic Productions, where the online persona Red is talking about. She talks about literary tropes, and in this case, the trope is character development coma.
Like when they're in comas?
Yeah, well, either when a character is does something and then is knocked out, you can do all the scene changing while they're unconscious. They can wake up somewhere else, and you don't have to show the process of them getting there.
Yeah, it's like all those Commando movies. They just show up in the doorway, or they're falling from the ceiling or some shit. It's like, how the hell do they even get to the building? Are there no patrols around or anything? It's just
but you don't necessarily have to show all that.
Yeah.
For it to be realistic, and in this case, by having it off screen rather than on screen, it leaves your imagination to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Which can often be worse than if they'd shown something.
That's true.
So you can, your mind will fill in.
Jeez,
wow.
What is that?
That was some engine noise for sure.
Sorry, guys. The racetrack is open early today.
Yeah. Sounds like dragsters.
Damn kids.
Yeah, damn kids. Damn kids in their fast cars.
Damn kids in their fast cars and their hula hoops and their microwave ovens.
Oh, we laugh about that, but I actually acquired a radiation detector.
What the hell?
That
Like a
is
Geiger counter?
no, it's a radiation detector. It's to detect the radiation that comes from your microwave.
Damn.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I just had
It's a
solar.
microwave detector. Because back in the old days when microwaves were new, radiation leaked out of them.
What?
Hey,
And
check
this
out,
was
guys.
a device to check and see if your microwave was literally leaking microwaves into the room that could hurt you.
I remember there's a scene in Class in Newcomb High where one of the officials says, like, oh, the reason of these kids mutating is because of their microwave ovens. Or some shit.
Guys,
Yeah.
I just had the solar panel guys. They're trying to put solar panels on our house.
Oh, really?
And they told me that your microwave oven is probably the biggest consumer of your electricity in your freaking house.
Really?
Oh, it is pretty high.
If you go out like the old fashioned style meters where the watt meter spins, the old style ones. If you turn your microwave on and and a vacuum cleaner on, you can go outside and watch it. It just speeds up.
Huh.
The old Kevin knows what I'm talking about. The old analog.
Yeah, I got one. Yeah, you twist it.
No. It's got a horizontal wheel on it that spins every time you use a watt of electricity.
Yeah. You're talking about the outside, the electric. Yeah.
The old meter.
Yeah, the old meter.
It had the little dials on it. Yeah, and this one going around once moves this one.
Spin with a black marker on it, a black witness mark.
I remember that.
And every time it spins around, it's like a watt or something. But if you have one of those, I remember when I was a kid, I did that. I would turn the microwave on because if you go watch outside, it turns really slowly.
Yeah.
But you turn the microwave on, that thing starts to spin.
Yep.
Thank God, though. I love
it. We're trying to cut down on our electric bill, and so we asked the guy, and he's like, "Believe it or not, your microwave is the biggest thing in your house. It's not your refrigerator."
No, and I said your vacuum cleaner is even worse, but fortunately you can turn it off.
Yeah.
Well, a vacuum cleaner, you don't use it all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not, you're not constantly running it. Modern, in fact, if you have an old AC unit that's more than 10 years old,
yeah,
as they age, I'm an electrician. That was my after the Army skill. Residential mostly, with some commercial. As an air conditioner ages, it has to be serviced more often because it will actually leak coolant.
Yeah.
Over time we're not talking, it's got a squirting, stuff is squirting out. We're talking over a year it'll lose enough coolant that it has to work harder to do the same job.
Makes sense.
And so your cycle is short. The off cycle is shorter. The on cycle is longer, and the cycle has to work harder to actually make the cold.
Get that question in a minute. Yeah, that's the thing is though is that servicing air conditioners is so expensive.
Yep.
Oh my laws.
Well,
what you pay out in the front end, you save on the back end.
Yeah, Justin, that is correct. That if you have a good AC company that comes out and looks at you at the beginning of the season and checks it, they will top off the coolant.
Hey, Nick asked me a question.
Good one.
I know, I saw that. I'm waiting my turn.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine.
So if you have a vacuum cleaner that's 20 years old, it's using more electricity than one you will buy tomorrow.
Well,
brand new.
Good vacuum cleaners are also serviceable.
Yes, they are.
We have a guy in town that services our vacuum cleaner because we've got a simplicity. And if you've got something like that,
What the hell's a simplicity?
it's a brand of vacuum cleaner.
A higher end brand of vacuum cleaner.
We can tell who the peons in the stream are, can't we?
Hey, I update my vacuum. I clean it. I clean the filters and
that's part of it, right? Cleaning the vacuum but you could also
replacing the bands if it has bands.
I change my own oil though. I can change my own, timing chain, and I can do all that. Because you know why? I'm a mechanic? Because I'm poor as hell, and I have to be. I have to be an electrician. I got to be a friggin' plumber. I got to be a mechanic.
So let's see. My challenge for this week, I have painted a whole whopping 3 minis.
Hey.
I did this. I did this Inquisitor.
Yeah, but you painted them and they're nice looking.
They're just brown.
No, he's not maroon. You dump truck.
Dump truck. Shut the front door.
French toast.
Get these mother father snakes off my mother father plane.
And then I'm doing this wizard.
Oh yeah, that other brown guy.
That's the one I gave him. Show it again, Bo. Show him again.
Yeah, let me see this brown dude again real close.
It is a classic late 80s, early 90s pose where he's like flat because he's solid metal. So you can't have, one arm pointing up and one arm pointing out, or his doing weird position with his legs.
That guy's singing. He's like, oh, the sound of music.
The hills are alive with the sound of Griswold.
And if he was, he would still be not as gay as you.
I am quite happy. I am queer. Oh, look at that. That's sweet.
That is nice.
Is that a dragon or a drake? Or...
No, it's like a pterodactyl looking thing.
Yeah.
But the color variations are really nice. The greens on that sucker.
Thanks. This is all speed paint over Zenithal. Just slap chopping the crap out of it.
Zenithal you guys keep talking about.
Right. All right.
You primer the mini black, right?
Okay.
Then you airbrush or rattle can or even dry brush white over most of the raised areas.
Okay. Like dry brush?
What you're trying to do is you're trying to create a gradation of light and shadow.
Okay.
So the best way to explain it is to imagine if you prime a mini a dark color. So you catch the dark, and it doesn't have to be black. A lot of guys will start with brown, especially if you're painting organic and natural colors. You can, or a figure with a lot of flesh tones. You can prime it brown or black, and then you imagine spraying it from from a 45-degree angle.
You almost like frost it.
Well, the thing is, it's supposed to represent the position of the sun shining on the miniature.
Not like an OSL, though. No, it's not quite like an OSL. What you're trying to do is you're just trying to create light
variation in color. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, and you can also what you want to I do it 3 steps. If I can find one here that's done up.
I mean, what?
Here's an example. Here's how I do it. Okay, I prime it black. I zenithal gray, and then I dry brush white. So I've created quite a few. So when I start to paint, I know
that's one of the guys with the shiny weapon.
I know where my lights and shadows are going to be. I don't use a lot of speed paint. You can, and if you do, the speed paint will it'll naturally be lighter over the places that are white and gray than over the places that are black. But even if I don't, it still shows me as I paint where to paint lighter and where to paint darker.
Okay, so it's just an aid to looking at the highlights and the.
It can be if you don't. If you do it with speed paint or contrast paint or instant paint. What are all the brands? There are like 8 different brands right now.
What the hell? I mean, what about you're painting with Vallejo, right? What do you consider that? normal
There is
paint.
a Viejo contrast paint. What's it called, Shadow? The Viejo contrast paint.
I honestly don't know. I haven't looked into it.
I don't,
But
it
basically,
seems like you guys are doing like two extra steps.
No.
See, here's the thing: when you're using like the thinner paints, like inks and more transparent paints, the zenithal comes through, so it makes the areas you paint white are brighter than the areas you paint
So
over
it's like
the
a
black.
primer. It's just like another primer.
Yeah, it's layers of primer.
But because there's white, so okay, imagine trying to paint over black. You know
Yeah.
how dark it is?
Sure.
Okay, well, the white areas aren't going to be so dark.
I got you. I get you.
So it's like when you're painting a car, you know, if you use white primer, gray primer, etc., you're going to want to use white primer for a brighter color. Well, it makes whatever paint you're using brighter because of the white undercoat.
Yeah, I got you.
And therefore, it makes the brighter colors brighter and the darker colors darker. But it's sort of, instead of trying to get that effect with the paint, it's doing it with the undercoat.
And you don't have to do it with. I mean, there are a lot of guys online, a lot of good painters that are doing it without. And there are ways to actually. Okay, contrast paints, speed paints, all of the instant, whether it's like or the scale setting of instant paints, all they are expensive glazes.
Yeah,
that's the way of looking at it.
You can make your own with. Like I've made my own with.
All you need is matte medium and flow aid mixed to.
Yeah,
that's basically I can give you the recipe. It's really easy.
If you really want to cheap out, you can do 1 part matte medium, 1 part water, 2 drops of dishwashing detergent, because the dishwashing detergent will break the surface tension of the water.
Right.
And make a poor man's flow aid.
Right.
Depending now what's going to matter is how high quality the paint you're using, because you want to have a high pigment paint that's not going to break down when you add the medium to it. And if you really want to cheap out, I've heard that a lot of matte medium is nothing more than thin down PVA glue. I haven't gone that far. I usually just use matte medium.
Guys, this is how I paint. I get a bottle of Vallejo.
Lobby. There's enough matte medium here to last for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I've got the same. I've got. Well, is that Liquitex?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the same. I've got a bottle of that and Flow Aid, just because I'd rather use the Flow Aid than the dish soap, because I never know exactly what I'm going to get with the dish soap.
Yeah, I got I just got a dye-less, a dye-free dishwashing detergent, not dishwashing. Dishwashing, not dishwasher, dishwashing.
Yeah, dish soap.
A dye-free, fragrance-free. I think I bought it at the dollar store or something like that.
I've never actually seen anything that isn't like colored. That's the other thing.
Racist.
Hey.
But no, so this is how I paint, guys. I mean, I'm doing it wrong. I get a mini.
Dye-free. It's a dye-free dishwashing detergent.
That looks like something you got from Amway.
It's not, though. I got it. It does. It looks like Amway, but it's not. I got it at the Walmart or
New Fine Arts.
But it's a dye-free, plant-based dishwasher. And I only I used about 3 drops of this. I've had this for about a year, and that's how much I've used.
Yeah, it's just you can do it.
Oh, guys, I don't even prime, guys. I get a mini, and I paint let's say it's I'm doing all these Japanese, not Japs, Japanese, because I don't want to offend the Jap race. Anyway, I just paint like the color of the uniform on the naked mini. I color this guy brown or whatever he is.
You don't use primer at all.
No, hell no. And I do the flesh, and I paint his webbing and all that shit. I detail paint it all, and then I dip it. It's basically a
The army painter dip.
Yeah, basically it's wood stain.
I'm not with him.
You guys do like 15 damn steps just to get
I'm not
a
with
primer
him.
on it. I'm just like, that's why it takes you 15 years to do
Well,
5 minis, dude.
Yeah,
Here's
but
the thing, though.
they look pretty good when done.
When you're priming, you can prime. If Bo uses an airbrush. When I was painting armies, I used an airbrush.
I use airbrush and rattle
And
cans.
what I did was I would line up the minis.
Yeah.
And I would prime them all.
Prime.
And then get them all from the different angles, but prime like 20, 30, 40 minis at one time. I'm not priming every mini individually. That's ridiculous.
Who said I was priming them individually? You're
Same thing. And they said, well, he's talking about, you have all these extra steps. Yeah, when you're priming 20 minis, that's a 2-minute step.
Yeah.
To do 20 guys. Yeah. Not a 2-minute step to prime one guy.
Yeah, like if
for each level.
Again, we're talking about the Japanese. I would put 20 Japanese out, and I'd spray them all with my airbrush, the base color of their uniform, and then just do detail work, and then I dip them. Done.
Look, where you
see the base color of the uniform is your primer.
I'm not painting for wargaming, though. I'm painting for role playing gaming, so I need a lot fewer minis. I don't need to have.
True.
If I'm painting for an RPG, I need 20 minis. If I'm painting for a tabletop game, I need 200.
Look at that thing. What is that monstrosity, Shadow?
This is a Mark I Tredaran tank from Shadows of Brimstone.
Nice.
Yeah, the party's supposed to go up against this.
Oh,
easy.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, 4 cowboys against this.
Stick a rock in its idler or stick a rock in its sprocket, pop that track, and then just pour some gasoline in the engine deck. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cowboys usually aren't carrying around a can of gasoline. Yeah, they don't even know what the hell that shit is. But they do have dynamite and powder.
Or pitch. They got gas. Well, they got kerosene.
Kerosene.
Yeah, unfortunately,
and,
they need the kerosene for the lantern because they're in the mines, and if they don't have that lantern, they're screwed.
Come on, you guys are dwarves or some shit with the vision, the low light vision.
No. Shadows of Brimstone is like a Wild West game.
I know, I'm messing with you.
But this one's got a zenithal on it.
Hey, thanks, British Legion. This is why I paint like, I said I've only got 2 painting speeds, slow and reverse. I'm not winning any golden demons, but I'm trying to, another thing, Brian, I'm trying to develop some painting skills.
I get you. I get it.
I'm never gonna win any awards, but I want to push my own ability.
But it just seems like a lot of this is redundant, like putting 2 different primers basically on your stuff, and then working levels. You're still doing highlights and shit.
Okay, check it out, Brian. You see the under part of the wings, the light green.
Yeah.
That effect is because all I did was I did the zenithal.
Yeah.
Black with the white, and then I just painted the speed paint over it. And
that's
why
one
you
coat
can
of paint.
see the black coming through.
Sure, but the thing is, Shadow, you could have just used the light green and just painted it over the black. It would have been light green. Get a good pigment paint like Vallejo, and you'll just one coat on top of that black, that green color, and there you go.
But I wouldn't have the shadows and recesses darkened the way I've got it.
I mean, that's what inks and
that was 3 steps. I'm done with
Brian. I paint the same way. I painted the same way you do, except I primered first. I always primered white or light gray.
Yeah, I just
for my choices because I feel that, and then I painted. I would do all my shading and everything with the paints themselves.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
That's what I did back in the day.
Yeah, I just I don't know. It's just I guess I'm a mass painter, so maybe I'm coming at it at a mass painting. But I mean, there was a time when I did detailed painting. Maybe if it was let's say I used to play Eldar, right? The Eldar have all that fancy, frilly color crap. So I would primer
They're
that
covered
white,
with
I
stuff.
could get a good solid, yellow or red or some shit out of that. But otherwise, I've always painted with just painting that shit on there.
Hey, Brian, that's how I painted for 20 years.
Yeah.
With using craft paints and no primer on metal.
Yeah,
Okay.
craft paints can be tricky.
I learned how to do it, but my problem I found was sometimes that paint would just peel right off.
Yeah, craft paints are not the best.
Even using like multiple glazes affects, water the shit down and go over it multiple times to get just the right,
Nick, you
right
should
color.
get on the show, dude. Nick, have you guys seen British Legion's channel? He's
great
painter,
no, but I will subscribe.
Yeah, we've compared notes on painting before.
Oh, have you? Okay, cool. Yeah,
hey, British Legion, is that the name of your channel? Because I'll sub right this second on my other device.
Yeah, we talked about my sister's army before, as I recall.
Oh, right on. And hey, again, Shadow, he runs a game store.
Yeah, I heard you mention that. I'm gonna have to go check that out. Hold on a second.
Or he owns a game store, I should say. Yeah, he just did for Mutt's challenge. He just painted up a bunch of Germans and Americans from like the Warlord like starter set or something.
Is it British Legion 666?
Maybe it's 668, the neighbor of the beast.
No, I'm looking. Okay, yeah,
it's.
I just
six,
subbed, buddy.
The neighbor of the beast.
No, that's actually one of our friends out there in TV land. That's actually a YouTube. I don't know if he's a YouTuber, but that's his handle.
Funny.
Okay, dude, I just subbed.
Yeah, check it out. He's great.
And I get the notifications and all that crap. So,
so story with British Legion, Nick. He was the first guy. He like when I first started my channel, I didn't know this guy from Adam, and then all of a sudden, the first like day or two that I put my channel up, I see that this guy, Nick, I see British Legion and say, "Hey guys, there's this new channel called Weird World War II. Brian seems like a cool guy. Go check out his shit." Out of nowhere, and I'm just like, dude, that was awesome. He plugged my shit. I don't even know the guy, and we just became friends.
No, that one of my first videos I did the opposite. One of my first videos, I said, hey, if you're a content creator and you that was how I met you, Brian. Put your link in, or your name, your in my video so I can subscribe to you because we need to promote each other's stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I had you guys on early on.
Yeah, it was like that. You guys were having one of your Friday or your Saturday night shows, and I know you guys was kind of hesitant. He's like, "Who's this Weird World War II guy?" I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But dude, I'm telling you, I told you how awesome I was.
I told you how awesome I was.
People like Legion of Myth and Bruce Lombardo, and of course, my first appearance was with Biggest Geekus. They just saw what I was writing in the chat and liked what I had to say, invited me on, and
that's cool.
They did so much nice promotion for our channel and what have you that we just had to do the same thing every chance we got. If we see somebody out there and we like them and we like what they say, it's like, come on in,
Yep.
let's get to meet each other and
there's this Australian guy that does a lot of 40K. He's actually branched out. He's doing did some reviews on some recasts. His name's Jeff Hannon. He's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
And I was gonna do a video in his style. My next big project, I found a recaster actually out in the Eastern Bloc, and I was gonna do a review on if they're any good, because it's got to be like a full blind box review. And if it's good, then if I'd like to see it work out, but if not, that's fine too. Like I said, we just got to promote each other's stuff because I'm not using bots, man. I see these channels. I know they're using bots to to increase their view count.
How do you? Is there like a bot company? It's like, hey, bot company.
Bot services, yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yep. There are companies that have nothing but, like, imagine a shed, like a shed filled with nothing but cell phones, and every cell phone's got a unique number and account, and it just leaves comments on people's videos. You can always tell a fake comment. I've got some on my channel, like, "Hey, great video, very insightful."
Oh yeah. Like, all our base belong to us. I get those all the time.
So, people actually pay for those, and it increases your engagement because it pushes you up in the algorithm. It pushes you up in the search,
Yeah, I put the screw to my members on Facebook saying, "Hey, I think I got like 1,300 or something on there." And I'm like, "Hey, you guys, come over to the YouTube channel, register up. Come on."
Yeah, imagine having 1,300 people and 1,300 followers. That's awesome.
I'm just like, if just like half of you guys like went over and joined the Facebook group.
I am on your Facebook group, but I hate Facebook anymore. It's such a cesspool.
Yeah, I haven't used Facebook in 6 months.
Not mine. My group is awesome. They're weird.
Here's the thing, Brian. I would, but if I go to Facebook right now, and I go on Facebook and I share something, it'll get shared. The second time I try to share something in any day, it says there's a problem.
Really?
That problem is they don't like what I share.
Oh, dude, trust me. I've been in Facebook jail so many damn times, dude. It's great.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it anymore. I do use Messenger, but I will not waste my time. Cool. It's cool to see a lot of my friends getting away with that stuff, but apparently I've been, damn near permabanned. So
like my blog is like they've labeled it porn, so I can't put like my blog, HTML.
And it doesn't matter the content of what I'm sharing, because mostly I'm there for gaming related materials.
Yeah, that's all I do.
But then I also throw out some spicy memes every once in a while, and they're usually not too friendly when it comes to a certain group of people. They don't like it, and they're the overlords of Facebook. So I hear you, bro. Pointless. It's pointless.
Trust me. Try weird World War II with Nazis and she-wolves and zombies and horror and death. Yeah, that's like a death sentence. Unlike the permanently fragile.
Yeah. And Jackie hasn't said anything to me at all about going to Germany. The application for the field trips on the table. I know he really wants to go. 26 is the cutoff date or whatever. Oh, and he hasn't said shit. And if I could afford it, I mean I can, but I'm so paranoid that he's gonna get his ass in trouble, or I'm gonna get a phone call if you want your son back, kind of thing. You know
what? If that happens, you send me that number, and I'll call him up and say I have a certain set of skills.
Dude, I have that certain set of skills. Dude, that's the problem. Is I used to do that shit and bring kids back home. So I don't want to. That's why I don't use my real name, and I never will, because all it takes is one freaking. I mean, mind you, this was back in the '80s, so chances are those people are dead. But it would be more fucked up than you could imagine.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, man. I mean, it's one thing sending your kids to like Washington D.C. or something like that. It's another thing send them across the ocean.
Yeah,
to a foreign land that you have.
I have a problem every time he goes to Mexico.
Yeah, New Mexico ain't safe at all, dude. At all.
Yeah. And his family wonders why I'll never go, and I'm like, well, because I'm not Mexican. I'm going to stand out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, you'll be a target.
Who looks like a rich American who can afford any price they demand.
But I have to admit, guys, if I ever go, I've never been outside of the States, But if I do, I'm wearing a big ass Texas hat. I'm wearing cowboy boots. I'm gonna just totally yuck it up, man. I'm American. I'm Texas.
You're gonna be the ugly American.
Hell
Thanks.
yeah, dude. I'm like, hello, everybody. I'm from Texas. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You do that, Brian.
Gonna give all us American, make it all the rest of us Americans look bad.
I seriously doubt there's anything he can do that will make us look worse.
Well, I'm the opposite. I've got a lot of friends in Brazil. They keep telling me to come visit, and I said, when I do come visit, I'm not taking anything with me but a wallet. And as soon as I get off the plane, I'm going to go and buy all local clothes, not take any jewelry, watch, cell phone. I'm going to buy all local clothes and hang out with locals and do local things and let them
Just
talk.
tell me love cricket. You'll be all right.
What's that?
Nothing.
Because yeah, I don't want that to happen to me. I don't want to end up as a statistic.
Oh, you wouldn't even be a statistic, dude. They don't keep track of that shit.
You fucking kung fu the shit out of them, dude. You'd be all right.
You think I'm bad? You should see the guys I'm talking about, which are freaking ninjas.
Shit.
I mean, I could street fight, but like, if anybody like that has any like really dedicated skills at it, I'd probably get my ass. I can take some fucking punishment, but I'm not like a fighter. I mean, I just punch and kick and shit. I don't have like, I'm not trained in martial art to do it. It's just like a street fighter.
Oh shit! My arm fell off.
See?
Out of context quote of the day, ladies and gentlemen. My arm fell off.
It's that contrast shit you're using, dude.
No, it's this mech that I'm working on. I was putting the gravel and shit on the base, and it started to spill onto the table instead of the tray I'm working on, and then the arm freaking fell off because I grabbed it wrong.
So I was at Hobby Lobby earlier today, right? And they had like a bunch of like mech kits, like
Gundams.
Yeah, 144 scale for like less than $20. And then
I told you that like 2 weeks ago. What the look, I'm gonna make an observation.
Hey, Brian, are they on sale?
This is a
40% off right now.
I swear by all that's holy, some people think that I talk just to hear myself talk.
You don't?
I have memory issues, man. I probably won't remember what the hell you just said. And I won't remember what
Stato said. And listen to me.
Hey, Brian, were they marked 40% off?
Oh yeah, they were cheap. Yeah.
Okay, that means this is the week to go because that sale. Go this weekend, buy yourself a mech for Crafting Gamers World War II Craft Challenge.
They also had a couple check this out. So they had a couple aircraft, 148 scale aircraft. World War II. They had a Spitfire and they had a Mustang that was pre-painted, and you just stuck them together.
Oh yeah.
For like $12. I'm like,
I hate those.
But dude, I mean, it looked good, and all you gotta do is stick them together.
Yeah, but they've done all the work.
Yeah, but I mean, for gamers, we're talking for gamers. That's perfect for gamers.
I know.
Well, the thing is, you still have to make sure that you can conceal the lines because a lot of those snap together models leave a because they're for 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old kids.
Yeah, I got one of the Blue Angels for my boy. Like
you don't have to glue them together, but you can.
Yeah, but
so
I tell you what, if you want to make a $15 Gundam kit look good, go through with your sanding sticks and your sandpaper, take all the mold lines off, glue all the parts that are not moving together, take the seam lines, and then if you paint after that, yeah, they look good.
Yeah, they look great.
I've
looking
often said that if you look at those Gundam kits, Games Workshop could really take a lesson because for the price point, what they charge versus the quality that you get
and the articulation, right?
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Articulation is
All the
freaking
quality.
amazing.
All of the quality that you get for
Yeah.
$20
Hey,
compared
Brian,
to
right
if
here.
Games Workshop sold that kit,
Brian.
it would be $100.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, watch some of the articulation. Okay, you got knees, you got ankles,
That's cool.
you got arm up and down,
That's
left and right.
Robotech, isn't it? Or-
No, this is a Gundam kit.
Is it Gundam?
Yeah,
It
the
technically
weight.
it is Robotech, but
Yeah,
it's just a Gundam.
Someone
Gundam.
told me that. I mean, someone told me that Games Workshop could really use the Gundam's ideas for their stuff.
Well,
It's
no,
so
I'm
good.
not talking about using their ideas. I'm talking about taking a page from their quality.
Yeah, the quality.
dude.
This is like a $20 kit, dude.
Okay,
cool.
look, those Gundam kits are still at least advertised that they're made in Japan, not China, Taiwan, Vietnam. So
Or
the cost
in
of production in Japan is probably not that much different than the cost of production in the UK. They're both industrial countries.
And try the leg. I mean, the articulation is
That's cool.
insane.
That's awesome.
Here's the thing. Every one of these Gundams and stuff, and a lot of other models, big models, should have the same kind of articulation that a G.I. Joe had in 1970.
No, better yet, a Micronaut.
So their wrist, they turn at the hand turns at the wrist bends, the hand turns in the mid. They got an elbow.
Dude,
They do they have the middle of the arm, so you can turn the arm this way. You got a fully articulated shoulder. You've got the heads that move up and down and will turn left and right. The hips are fully articulated, so any position you could do like a painting mannequin, those little wooden painting or drawing mannequins. You can do that with a G.I. Joe, with an old G.I. Joe.
What size?
The 11-inch, the real G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
19.
Then we had the freaking
1970.
gas. Yeah, I know. But then we had the gas shortage crisis of that era, and that
lie.
Yeah, and that turned everything.
No like politics on my stream.
Oh,
this is economics. This is economics.
This is economics, not politics.
Bullshit.
It may have there may have been a political agenda behind it, but it's all economic.
Yeah, hey, dude, I was like 10 or whatever at that time. All I cared was the fact that my action figures went from this to freaking this, and
Yeah.
I'm still though. I just watched a video on Micronauts last night because I was such a huge fan of it.
Who owns Micronauts?
What?
Hasbro.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
right. That's why they're not available now.
But they had. I still have a crap ton of them. They're Jackie's favorite toys, or the second favorite. Legos first, obviously, and he took care of them like. Really good care of them. So they're still all there. And there's a reason why they're worth a fortune, because they were made so well. And you could do so much with them back in the day. And it was kind of a bonus, that they the gas thing, happened for me as a kid, because not only did I get, 1977 was like the greatest year ever. We got Star Wars, we got freaking Micronauts, we got Heavy Metals magazine's first issue, I believe. We got John Carter and Conan in comic books first issues. I'm not sure about Conan, but I know John Carter.
Conan, Savage Sword of Conan goes before that, but not too much.
Well, no, I was talking just the color comic book.
Yeah, I am too. Because I remember I read Savage Sword of Conan back in those days.
We're taken directly from the Conan comics. The Conan comic was definitely first.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I have
it's older.
No,
Marvel didn't.
I've got the first. I've got the Savage Sword in an electronic anthology. I'm right on my phone. The first stories from Savage Sword were taken from the Conan comics. They were Roy Thomas stories.
Really? I thought it was the other way around.
Savage Sword came after Conan.
Yeah.
The
Barbarian.
Yeah.
I couldn't buy Savage Sword until I was much older. I had to wait until I was older and taller so that I could buy them, because they were right next to Heavy Metal and at the liquor
Yeah,
store.
yeah.
we
They
bought all
were the kind of thing that they were PG-13 before PG-13, or like
They were
Right.
They were like,
But-
oh.
used to be
but I
like
find
16 to buy a lot of this stuff until they
Oh,
were
I used
more
to get 'em at the
mature.
Circle K when I was a kid because they were with the other magazine.
They had them on a separate rack. They had a lot at
Not
Circle K.
at
They had a
Journey, they
bunch of
didn't.
them. Yeah, they
Not
did.
at
When I was a
Journey, they
kid,
didn't.
No,
They
when
had
I was a
Journey at the
kid,
Circle K, they were right there with the magazines.
Yeah,
Yep,
I never had any. I used to buy that shit when I was like 12 or something, and yeah, I never
Did
had
anybody
any.
here buy Creepy or Eerie magazine?
Oh
or
hell yeah!
Oh, yeah, I had Creepy.
Hell yeah!
Those were my
But-
favorites.
Creepy goes back. Creepy, when I remember the first Creepy I saw was
I have a
when
number
we-
one Creepy.
when we
It's-
lived in Kelvin in 1974 was the first time I saw a Creepy magazine, and it was old. We found it there was a railroad trestle that was relatively new. It was made of steel, had concrete pillars, and we would climb all over that thing. And one day we were up there underneath the trestle, but on top of the pillars there were like catwalks you could walk on. And we found the Creepy magazine up there where teenagers had been, smoking pot or whatever. And so we stole all their magazines, all their comic books that were up there.
Yeah,
Nice.
we found a lot
for you.
of certain magazines, like like in the park or whatever, and like abandoned cars. They're just like magnets to that stuff.
Oh yeah, because that's where you read them. Because your parents find them, they're going to throw them away.
or steal
He's
them.
talking about the ones that are a little more blue.
Exactly.
Yeah,
If your parents find them, or your dad's either going to take them and hide them for himself, or their parents are going to throw them away.
Well, I had older brothers,
So if you're
I
going
have
to keep them, you got to have a place to store them that's not your house. Like an abandoned car, or the top of a pillar in a railroad trestle, or a cave in the desert, an abandoned mine. You hide them where you can.
You find these papyrus writings, you just throw them out, and you grab the earrings that are in there underneath them.
Yes, that's exactly how it works.
I fucking love those magazines, man.
Dude, they
Creepy
scared the
earrings.
hell out of me as a kid, bro. There was some scary stuff in those
Yes,
things.
there were. You know what's worse though? Believe it or not, Tales from the Crypt. Oh my god, the
Like
original.
the EC ones? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that didn't come along until much later.
No, those
No.
were the 50s. Those were pre
EC
comic
were-
authority.
Yeah, EC
Yeah.
were in the 50s.
My dad
Oh,
brought
no,
home.
that's right. That's right. Tales from the Crypt was a comic book before it was the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. It was. Yeah,
my
they
dad
come from
brought
some
home-
of those.
My dad brought home the hardcover edition back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
And
collection
he just-
ones, yeah.
Yeah. He borrowed it from a friend at work, which was totally shocking to me. And I read the shit out of those. Unfortunately, I had to give them back. And now I'm like eyeballing a couple of collections, the hardcover set, and they go anywhere from like $300 to $500 for like I think the 3-volume set.
Wow.
And I remember watching Tales from the Crypt, the TV show, and there were a couple that were actually taken from the issues that I read. Did you ever watch that show?
Yeah.
Remember
Oh.
the one with the
Santa?
cop and the convict traveling across the desert?
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the
Santa
ones
one
that
was
freaked me.
done too.
One of the ones that freaked me out the most because the last frame in the comic strip is, I'm not going to ruin the whole story, but the convict's laying there in the desert, right, with the dead cop. He's been dragging, but with the handcuffs the whole time.
Handcuffed to him.
And the last scene you see is him looking at the vulture about to peck out its eyes. It was just like, fuck, I'm staying out of the desert, man. I ain't going down like that. And where do I live? Freaking
Yeah.
desert.
I remember there's one, I think it was in Creepy. It was like the story was like this girl was like a princess, and this
I know which one you're talking about.
This demon one.
Oh, no. I was talking about the one that was the vampire.
No, it's a demon, and it climbs in her window, and it's about to kill her, or it forms like this this acid, and it pours on the acid, and he dies, and the demon's like, ha 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 ha. And then like there's a sword comes out of the goo, and this knight in armor, and it starts to attack the demon. And then like the demon wakes up in this like cave, and the mama demon's saying, "It's okay, you're just having a nightmare." And then in the shadows in back in the cave, you see this knight with a sword like ready to strike these demons. Oh, dude, that one like I was just
subverting expectations.
Yeah, it was great, dude.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was reminding me of the one where there's a man and a wife. They live in a castle, and he won't let her out of the castle, because there's vampires outside or something like that. And it turns out that she's actually the vampire, and she doesn't even know. And he's been giving her blood in her tomato juice in the morning and shit to keep her from going out. But I think at the end, she opens up the window, to actually be able to look, at the world, and of course it turns her to dust.
Oh, dude, like the sun gets her. Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Piercy?
Hey,
what's up, dude?
Mr. Block.
What's up?
We're painting and chilling.
Yeah, I'm not getting any painting done because I know any second I'm going to have to leave you guys' company until the game tonight because it is burger night and I'm getting pretty freaking hungry. And the boys,
I don't know if I want to cook burgers or just go buy burgers. I like to cook burgers, but I'm freaking hungry right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't like paying $30 for 3 hamburgers.
Yeah.
I get that. I do. But I'm hungry right now.
Instant gratification.
Yeah, I if it was up to me, I would never eat fast food ever again. But of course, it's not up to me.
Yeah, but a good burger is like not really fast food. A good burger is an American icon.
Right.
Like
That's why I make them at home, and they are,
And a good burger takes a bit to cook. You can't just.
It takes 4 minutes. No, okay, look. The problem with you got to start with a good burger. Most of the hamburger you get now is too lean.
Yep.
Finding 80-20 burger is really hard.
You want fat and stuff, but when you're a fat bastard, you don't need all the fat, dude. So you get lean stuff.
So you get that. You get some good 80. What I like to do, I like to start with a two ounce ball of meat. It's about the size of a big golf ball, 2 ounces. And then if you make a 2 ounce patty, a 2 ounce patty will fit perfectly on a toasted potato roll. And then you eat about 4 of them.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, see, I gotta avoid the bread. That's the only problem I got.
Potato roll, mustard, onion, pickle. That's it.
Ketchup, mustard, and ketchup mix.
Oh, dude, wait. Where are you from,
My
Ryan?
God, dude, Bo, you bitch about everything. If it ain't your way, it's the wrong way. Right there, buddy. My God.
I didn't think people. No, honestly, let me ask you a question. I did not think people put ketchup on burgers in Texas.
Hell yeah, dude. We put barbecue, ketchup, jalapeno shit. We put it all fried freaking onions on it, all sorts of shit.
I like fried onions, but I just if you watch like George Motz's shows, a lot of the stuff he shows from Texas doesn't have ketchup on it. I just want to know if
that guy. I don't even know who that is. It's like,
yeah,
I don't watch The View, so I don't know who the hell you're talking about, dude.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, my heart. Oh, he staked me through. He just compared me to Whoopi Goldberg.
Through the heart.
I think he was comparing you to Sonny, but that's just.
Who watches The View knows who the hell Sonny is? Who's Sonny?
Who the hell's Sonny? I don't know. Shit.
She's
you guys are watching
Lifetime.
You guys are watching Lifetime channel and shit like that.
No, I watch so many freaking other kinds of videos where they're constantly making fun of the stupid, can't understand normal thinkers on that show.
Man, I tell you what. In all honesty, it's time to go your own way, man. Go your own way. abandon the right and the left, and go your own way.
Hell yeah, dude! It's always been like that. I'm an individual. You know who? You know what group I associate with? Brian. That's it.
Oh, okay. Fuck you. What about
No,
us?
I mean you're my friends and shit, but I mean you guys don't think exactly like I do. I don't think exactly like you do.
I don't think at all.
I don't. Hey. First off, hold on a second. I don't think.
I was born to follow.
I don't think I feel.
You don't feel? Damn, dude.
I feel. I don't feel.
No. I just react. I don't feel.
I'm a man of
Yes.
instinct.
Pure fucking testosterone.
Mine's probably down around 0 right now.
I don't know, but I'm about to be
Off
finished.
tonight.
I'm about to be finished with 100 minis, brothers.
You suck.
Geez, I haven't painted a mini since 1998.
Well, get on it, dude.
I just don't have the desire anymore. I mean, I painted.
Hey,
There's
a little blue pill for that.
Listen, man. There's no little blue pill for painting minis.
Oh,
Back when I was living in Tennessee in 1990, 91, I painted about 1,000 minis.
1,000. Those are rookie numbers.
Yeah, but they're all 6 millimeter.
No, I painted 4 battalions of mechs.
Yeah, but those are like
4 color paint schemes.
Okay, I was about to say you better be at least a 3-color variation.
And the infantry, I painted a large battalion of jump infantry.
Yeah.
And those are 5 color.
Uh-oh.
And they're 6 millimeter.
Nice.
And then I painted an entire army of about. Oh, that looks nice.
I'm going to show everybody the hair. This is the hair that Kat wanted.
Shit.
This is the hair that you requested.
I see your knuckle. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah,
the orangey, the reddish orange hair.
Dude.
And then the shoulder pads and everything. You didn't do the entire front the same color as the shoulder pad?
No, because his robes are sticking through.
Is it his robes?
Yeah.
I thought the front of that came all the way down like to his crotch. Or is that just the ties from his belt?
No, that's his. He's got like. Oh no. I don't know. I could have done it. No, it's definitely not the front of his.
So that's what you look like, huh?
Do it that way, but then I would like go all the way around to the back, and the orange would just go on forever.
So
Yeah,
that's what you look like up close.
So, yeah, he looks really nice. I mean, I just never got. That's one of the ones that I was given back when I was doing a lot of painting, but I never felt the. For me, I had to be inspired to paint a miniature, and I painted at least 50 miniatures that were people's player characters.
Wow! Did you
At least 50? People would come to me and say, "Hey, they'd buy a mini and they'd say, Kevin, could you come and Kat, could you paint this miniature for me? This is what I wanted to be. I want these colors." And
that one looks real familiar, Brian.
Yeah, I don't remember.
He would say, "Yeah, pay me."
Did you guys?
well, I did. I charged $5 a mini to paint minis. So if I was going to paint a character,
You paid $100 back then.
Yeah, no shit.
and I paid my rent. I paid my rent for a year painting minis for people. I painted an army, literally an army of.
That's why you don't have. That's why you don't have any inclination to paint anymore, because you got burned out painting other people's shit.
I did.
Yeah.
Bobby Brown is
See, when I came back to Arizona to live after being in Tennessee for 3 years, I still was painting minis. And because I got my brothers and some of their friends and some other guys who one of them whose name might have been Bo, involved in my games. and I painted all their characters minis.
I never had one.
No, you did not. You just used whatever generic guy I had because I had dozens. I have dozens of miniatures of my own that I painted for running my own games.
Yeah.
And I have miniatures. I have miniatures that friends painted for me.
Did you guys hear about the kind of little challenges we were talking about on my feed earlier today?
Yeah, I saw that.
What do you think of that, Bo? Is that something you think you can do?
I totally missed it.
I can't paint enough to make it work.
What is it?
What's the challenge, dude?
Okay, so what I was thinking is like every month. Okay, so we have like a club, like Painters Club or whatever, and there'd be 3 different tiers. There'd be like people who don't paint a lot, so you would roll like a D10, and you'd paint, whatever you rolled. Okay, so the people would join the tier, and whoever's in the tier would team up. They would pair up. You'd roll a D10. It'd be a D10, a D20, and then a D100. Okay, and we're talking like 28 millimeter stuff. So like if you like with Bo would roll a D10, he got like 5, and then whoever else was in that same category would you team up. There'd be paired off, and then you would okay, I paint 5 and he paints 5, and then it's a push. But if I paint 5 and he only paints 3 by the end of the month, Bo's got to buy you like a blister pack of like something, or some like a paint bottle or some shit. Now, if you both get to 5 or whatever the cutoff is, it's a push. But if one goes over, that person wins. So it would be like you'd agree to it wouldn't be like something $10 or less or something like that. But you would do that every month. And it would be an incentive to paint. We'd all be together painting and bullshitting like we do now. And then if you win, you get a little something funny. And then you get, if I'm hammering Bo and Bo's having to send me shit, he's gonna get pissed and okay, I'm gonna paint like a mofo. And then he starts kicking ass, and then it's just all of a sudden our fucking collections are done and we all die. There you go. See?
Dude, I've got about 200 minis to paint by Christmas, because
you better get on it, brother.
Sometime between now and then, sometime before the end of the year, I'm going to be getting 500 minis from Dungeons and Lasers. Okay?
Yeah, dude, you got to stop giving them money, because that's Dungeons and Lasers. You get swamped with the Archon stuff, man, because it's so inexpensive compared to other stuff.
Dude, I do not mind the dragon. I was talking about the dragon turtle this morning that I'm getting. I kid you not. It's like the size of a real turtle. Okay. Okay. It's come along with a big old airship and a whole bunch of giant freaking models that I don't even remember. I'm scared to look.
I was actually on. I was telling them that we need more lasers and less dungeon, but
yeah, they want to throw that all into the Rampart bundle.
That's fine, but the Rampart is actually made for wargaming. It's not. I mean, the terrain is specifically. The difference is, in my opinion, just my opinion. I'm just
right.
Hold on a second. It's my channel. You can control the narrative, but no, the problem with the
I control the vertical. I control the horizontal.
Bad about the Archon, the Rampart stuff is that it's all 3-dimensional.
What's that mean?
It's
made the terrain goes up.
Oh, it's like
terrain. And so you don't necessarily need such an elaborate setup for a role-playing session.
Yeah.
No. Right. You need walls. You need walls.
3 levels.
Yeah. Well, it would be cool to have a warehouse with 3 levels if you could take the top levels off and have the characters, doing stuff in the warehouse. But how many times are you going to do that? How many times are you going to have
my Dungeons and Lasers? I do that.
The Dungeons and Laser stuff had tiles, which were more modular and set up for role playing.
Right. If you go back and look at some of our dungeons that we created, we have at least in several occasions we have 2 levels, and they're stacked on each other.
Sci-fi based tiles, and they want to do more stuff that's specifically for wargaming, which again is fine.
That has been what Shadow's talking about. That has been my dream of having of doing like taking a dungeon that exists in a module, right? Someone's published work, and making a full 3D thing with lift off levels.
You could do that with Dungeons and Lasers, like super freaking easy.
Yeah, but the one I want to do it with is like 6 different levels.
You could
and
do it.
it would need a dedicated 4x4, 4 foot by 4 foot for each level.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, real quick in the comments, Kevin, Kat was stationed in Germany. Kevin was asking Percy if he was stationed in Germany, but Kat was. If you're looking to talk about the old German shit.
Oh, I'm always looking for people I served with.
Percy, I guess he's got kin from Germany. The Germans, the Deutschlander. Got to give the love to those folks in the chats. Not that was my channel, you know.
Mid '80s playing D&D in my buddy's garage. Those are the days. We need some more basic battle reports. This world needs some more basement battle reports. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Gonzo, man. It's the way to go. Because it's real. It's freaking real, man.
We get so caught up that we're missing. We can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah. Everything is
not enough. These days, not enough players have character journals.
No, I don't need a character journal.
Well, no, you need a character journal for your character, so that you can remember all the stories of the crazy crap you did.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Because I have character journals going back to characters I played in Germany in '86. You know,
I give all my players after like a session, I give them a chronicle, and it basically tells you like what you've gained in game for like the adventure. Like you save a farmer, and then the farmer says, "Hey, if you ever need a place to live or a place to stay, or you know, if we're in town selling food, you get a discount." That kind of shit. So like it builds on each other. All these adventures.
Okay, now in our game, I have given players opportunity already if they've been paying attention to form alliances and make friends, but I don't know how many of the players have taken advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, we get opportunities, and then Rufus dies when we're leaving Nippur.
That was epic, though.
I has a sad.
Died. That was awesome.
It was epic. It was epic, and man, I gotta say, I grieved for Rufus. He was the one I really wanted to save.
Rufus had a hero's death, though, man.
Yes, he did.
It was like Adric in Doctor Who. You guys remember that when Adric died? That was heartbreaking.
Nope. Which one's Adric?
Adric was the 14-year-old kid that hung out with Doctor Scarf.
Oh,
he was like the super mathematician kid.
Yeah.
Who had that little weird badge, and that's how they ended the episode with his badge broken on the floor. Yeah, that was pretty heartbreaking.
Man, I don't remember.
Yeah, I do.
Was that against the Cyberman?
Okay, they were against all of them. I don't know. I haven't seen all of those episodes because
they were like the
Cybermen are.
No, not the but there's another like bad guy during that time. There's like those, like they're like mannequins, and they.
Oh, that was before Tom Baker. Those were the automatons.
No, yeah, but Tom Baker, he fought against those too, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. But I remember Delgado as the master was in one of those famous episodes where the hand would drop down, it would just hinge off, and there'd be the gun sticking out. That was so cheesy, but I loved it. He was the best master.
My favorite doctor was the second one. They call him the hobo doctor. I love that dude.
Oh, really? The guy who looked like Mo from the Three Stooges.
Yes. He's my favorite. I love that dude. He's the first one. He was the first to engage in the Daleks, I believe.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of him. My favorite was either Tennant or Eccleston.
No, the second last doctor from the first run. He had this. They started to recruit the companions for eye candy. And it was right before the series was went on hiatus, canceled basically. And there was this one of his companions had these huge tracts of land. She was what we call in the business well tabernacled.
Was she the American one? The American chick?
I can't remember now, but I remember when I was a kid that
Which doctor?
She always caught my eye. You know what I'm saying?
Which doctor was that from?
I think he started
Not
with
which doctor, who doctor?
The one after the one with the big curly hair. I think it was the last one, the blonde guy.
Yeah, the thinner goo. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
But it's all
blonde hair, right?
The dusty cobwebs of my mind. So
I think it was that American chick. He had like that American girl that was pretty hot. I think that's her.
They recruited her obviously for her appeal.
Perpigillium Brown, right? You talking Perpigillium Brown?
Oh, man, I don't even remember names.
It rings a bell.
Yeah, she was pretty cute. She kind of had that what's her name from Speed look to her. What was the actress from Speed?
Sandra Bullock?
Yeah. She kind of looked like her.
She was a cutie.
Yeah, she was pretty smoking. I kind of had a thing for Ace too back in the day. She was kind of, reminded me a lot of girls I went to high school with.
Was that the original guys? Pertree's?
No, that was McCoy, Sylvester McCoy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The chick with the baseball bat and the explosives.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I dated like 3 of those girls, so
with baseball bats included.
and explosives. No joke.
Hell, Jules. Yeah, man. I remember those tough chicks were cool, man. They weren't all give me
men.
Right. They just fucking were. You know what I mean? They're like, I deserve that. Fuck, they were. They just were like this force. Just like, and you just like, yeah, right on.
Yeah, I remember this one chick. She wanted to get into she wanted to beat the crap out of every girl ever looked at me. I'm just like, whoa. I don't even know these bitches. We're at the freaking swap meet. Calm the shit down.
You're mine.
She's hitting on you. She is?
She like looked at me.
I didn't even notice.
I'm 18. What are you talking about?
That's enough.
I know, right? But,
Yeah, I can't do that jealousy too well. I'm not a jealous guy myself. If you're gonna cheat, you're gonna cheat, and we're done. But yeah, like that like over jealousy stuff is like very
especially with the Latinas. Holy shit!
Yes. Not to be racist,
but
girls.
If she doesn't have a razor blade in her mouth, could you even say you're dating a Latina?
Jesus.
Sorry, back in my day, they just kept them in their shoe.
Hey, when I was in high school, a bunch of girls, the Latina girls,
they had high school back then?
Listen, you. The Latina girls would have a comb.
Yeah, it was a one-room high school.
Listen, you. I'm trying to tell a story.
All right.
The girls in the Latina girls would have combs with the really, really hard, the big. This was before the big tooth comb was super popular. They would carry these combs that were made of hard plastic, and the teeth were sharp. So if they got in a fight, they would scratch the other girl's face with these combs, and it would leave like big old gouges in their face.
Yep.
Yeah. Because if you scar their face, you ruin them.
Yep. If you scar their face, you win because they're permanently marked, and everybody knows who marked them.
Damn.
Yep. Yeah, girls were more dangerous than guys.
Well, I don't know.
Back in those days.
I remember.
I don't know. I never fought any girls, so I don't know.
In school, when we fought, when the guy hit the ground, we stopped.
Yeah.
The fight was over, right? Shit, man, the girls, they just
that's groundwork. Ah,
yeah, man.
Yeah, girls really practice fuck you. headbutt them and then kick them while they're on the ground.
That's an ancient martial art there.
Yes, it is.
Hey, you guys ever seen these?
Oh yeah, those are meat.
Damn,
the meat
dude.
pullers, the things for shredding meat.
That's like shogi shit right there.
I bought these, right? I bought these because I was like intrigued. I saw them.
It's a baby card assassin.
Check this out. Check this out. On the back of the package, it literally says, "Do not use these for anything other than intended." You know, in preparing food. You basically just gave me the idea. Hey, I bet I can get these through the airport.
Dude, I know because they're based on the Lone Wolf and Cub comics. But when I was like 6, hey Kat, when I was like 5 or 6, Jerry had us. We watched the Baby Card Assassin movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
And they're like where they had like the big frog giggers and big giant steel knuckles, and they're like just blood swinging everywhere. I tell you what, when we were like 6, that was pretty. It was exciting and traumatic at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because for one thing, you're doing something with Dad that's man stuff. Because those movies were not meant for a 6-year-old, but you're doing the man stuff. You're with Dad watching this Dad movie.
Yep.
There's a scene in one, and I remember it from the because I've got the trade paperbacks, but there's a scene where like the 3 assassins, there's like 3 and there's a bunch of peons, and they're like they hide in holes and they pull like burlap sacks to hide from the assassin from the dude with the baby cart.
Yeah.
And he takes his sword, he like stabs it into the hole, and there's this blood comes gurgling up through the burlap, and then they start jumping out of the holes and doing all this stuff, and like heads are flying and arms are flying and big like big just geysers of gore and blood flying up, and you're like, you're still watching it, but you don't want to, and it's going to give you nightmares, but you watch it anyway.
Yep.
I gotta find those movies on Blu-ray. I'm sure they're around somewhere.
There was a movie called Light at the Edge of the World. And my mom took my brother and I to go watch it. It wasn't what she thought it was. She thought it was going to be a Light at the Edge of the World. It's going to be uplifting. It sounds like, the name of the movie, but it turned out to be a pirate movie. You're like, oh, it's not so bad. And because it involved a lighthouse, but there are some torture scenes in that movie that no 7-year-old should have watched. Oh my, gave me nightmares.
All right, I'm going to call this guy substantially complete. I got to finish his.
Which guy?
The dude.
The faux samurai?
Opinion, man.
The samurai. His eyes are closed, which is great.
Are they?
I thought he's just Asian, dude. You guys were saying that earlier. I'm just repeating what Bo said because he gets mad at me if I don't give him the credit that he said something earlier. So that was Bo about an hour ago.
That was like the king of callbacks. I got to tell you, because you managed to make the callback like the most backhanded insult. That was like chef's kiss. Yeah, no, he does definitely have tiny hooded, slitted eyes, and to do that really right, what have to do is have to get like a tiny brush with some warm gray paint.
Where'd Shadow go?
Warm gray makes really good whites of eyes. It's a really good.
What color?
Any kind of warm light gray. You want a warm gray, not a cool gray.
What's the difference between a cool and a warm?
It has to do with the grays. Grays can be blue, grays can be green, grays can be pinkish, they can be yellowish. So if it's on the blue side of the spectrum, it's a cool color. If it's on the red yellow side of the spectrum, it's a hot color or warm color. The same thing applies to off-white.
Blue in it. But a
Yeah,
nice,
you know.
a nice.
You guys have this, you have all this knowledge about like paints and
Oh, dude, we haven't even got out
paisley
we haven't
and
even
like,
got
you
the
know,
color
purses
wheel
and
out
shit.
yet.
Pretty impressive.
Don't you use the color wheel when you paint?
Fuck no.
I don't use a color wheel.
You own a color wheel.
I don't even own a color wheel. That's right. Me and Shadow, we're like alleyway painters, man. We like painting in the alleys and like under bridges and shit, like in war zones. We didn't have color wheels and shit.
My experience with painting.
I do actually have a color wheel, but it's a sticker I got from Green Stuff World. They just threw it in with the order I made. But it's kind of helpful knowing, what contrasting colors are and what complementary colors are. But that's about as far as I go with the whole color theory.
Everything I know about color theory comes from 3 places. High school art class, where I learned about portrait painting, and the colors and how to, shading and all these kinds of things and shadow and perspective. Didn't ever do any of it because that wasn't my thing. I like to do more architecture and stuff like that. But I learned the basics of art in art class. And then the rest of it's from painting miniatures or painting houses.
Bob Ross. Don't forget Bob Ross.
I only watched his show about 4 times.
I had a few houses back in the day. I had a small painting company for a while, right out of college. But yeah, pretty much the same 3 places. Art class was my favorite all the way through up until college, and then I stopped taking art classes because I was taking psychology and music instead.
And when you have to pay for it, you're like, screw that.
Yeah, right.
I'll just do it at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, guys, I'm gonna call it. I gotta make some dinner. Wake up.
Yeah,
early.
same here.
I don't have it. It's 1650 Mountain Daylight Time right now. I'm gonna make a quick meal and then I'm gonna duck back onto the Discord to prepare for tonight's adventure. Hopefully,
Gotta get in that secret that secret GM channel.
No.
What time are you doing it tonight?
Same time we always do, Pinky.
Well, shit, I did it once. I don't remember. I'm asking, GM.
6:30 my time, right?
So like 8:30 or something.
Well, it depends on where you live.
You're only an hour ahead of me, right?
No, I'm 2 hours. I'm central.
So yeah, 8:30 then your time.
Okay. Thank you, Shadow, my good friend.
Anytime, man. Anytime. I cannot wait to see what you do with your character. To be honest,
That's right.
I was talking about it to somebody.
Bo's talking shit tonight. It's going to be a hell of a game today.
Yeah, I got 3 words for you guys.
Oh, damn! He threw it out.
What's that?
Total party kill.
Yeah, no shit.
I thought it was going to be to do some morally questionable and physically impossible.
Yeah. 3 words. 3 words. Grab your ankles.
Oh, at least we can not worry about the live stream on our show, right?
Yes.
Well, at least we didn't have anything overtly sexist or racist.
Never. We would never do such a thing.
It was only
we're perfect gentlemen at the gaming table.
All right, guys. Well, whatever you do, keep it weird and don't do 3 different freaking primers. That's dumb.
Hey, it's just a different way of doing 3 different shaded colors.
It's true. Just because it's not my way, still makes it the wrong way.
Here's one reason I can think of that it's time saving. If you spray all your guys, prime them all, let them dry, prime them, spray them with the gray from the angle, so you like sun's over there, so you're spraying them all from over there. from that angle, so the sunlight's coming down. And then you do your white dry brush all at once. Then you don't have to do any of that with each individual miniature when you're doing the different colors. That's the only thing.
You're playing in black and white. That's perfect. Later, dudes.
You could paint them on black and white.
It's just a way. So,
all right, guys, I'm gonna hit the road too. You won't be able to hear over the kitchen utensils. Have a great evening, guys. Everybody out there in TV land, we love you. Happy trails.
Yeah.
con queso.
I expect to have a video for me later in the week. I'm painting. I've got a project coming, a model building project coming up. When I get done with this, I found a company in the Eastern Bloc that does recasts of discontinued Forge World models.
Okay.
And they're recasts, which means that I've had typically good luck with recast models.
So when you're talking about recast, they created their own molds.
Sometimes you have to do the recast. Usually you take a mold of a real one, but sometimes they're of dubious quality. And I found an upgrade kit that I kind of wanted, but number one, I wasn't going to pay Forge World prices. Number two, Forge World discontinued this kit like 7 years ago.
Oh my.
So Forge World discontinued a lot of their cool stuff. Games Workshop has really, really cut back on. Okay, how do I say this? Games Workshop has gone broad and not deep with their mini ranges. They've got a lot of stuff.
Right. They've got
a lot of selection in each faction where they used to have.
They've got 56 armies. They got 56 armies with 12 minis in each army.
Yes.
Rather than having one army with 1,000 different minis available for that army.
So that's what Games.
They've got 1,000 armies with just a couple of vehicles, a few miniatures types, and that's your army. They've gone less. Yeah, there's less creativity in their minis.
Did a really cool thing. Now, okay, price aside, I'm not even talking about price. Games Workshop's never been cheap. Okay, we're not, regardless of the price. Let's say avarice.
Oh yeah, their minis are more expensive than everybody else's.
They used to do this really cool thing with their vehicles, especially their Space Marine and Imperial vehicles, where they would make a basic chassis and have like 40 different options to top.
Right. Yeah. Like you'd have the Rhino.
Yeah, there were.
And the Rhino had there was the base Rhino. So you bought your Rhino, and then there were like 12 different kits.
Yeah.
And one of them had a turret on top. One of them had the bigger responses on the sides. Yeah. One of them had, change this or change that. And they were all, one of them had the big assault gun on it, the big artillery piece.
There was one that was for the Sisters of Battle. And what they did was they built up the top and sides. So it was like more like a pillbox. It was it had like these big armored skirts. With the fleur-de-lis and big flamethrowers on top.
Yeah.
And they discontinued it. Of course. Like 7 or 8 years ago.
5 minutes after they brought it into existence, they discontinued it.
To discontinue it. So I found a company, and again, they're based in Eastern Europe. So it was like $20 for the kit, and really not much more, including shipping. And I said, you know what? For $20, I'll take a risk. I will, and I'll tell you why I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk it for YouTube. I will take the risk, so you don't have to.
Right.
Not a paid sponsorship. If this kit sucks, we're all going to find out about it.
And no one else has to buy it and go, wow, this kit sucks.
Yeah, but if it's cool.
Well, if they're watching enough people's videos, if they have if they themselves have a broad, watching library.
Yeah.
Which some people don't.
You just do a search on it. Somebody says, hey, I'm going to put together this kit. I wonder if anybody on YouTube has, reviewed it. Or what if
Yeah.
anybody on YouTube has put this kit together? I'm going to say, yeah, look, I spent the $20 on this kit, so you don't have to.
Well, and here's the thing: someone might decide, well, it's a little bit of work, but you know what? I think I'm going to do it, even though the kit is not so good, is a poor kit. I think I can do that, by working with it. I can kit bash it and make it nice.
Yeah. Well,
And if someone wants to do that, that's great. But they're warned. They know that they'll know that the kit, what's coming.
Yeah.
And what they can expect and what the limitations will be.
Right. So I ordered this kit. It was kind of sketchy. It was, and I'd heard about it because I'd done some searching online, like on Reddit, whatnot. Just Google searches. Say, I want this kit. Is anybody making it? It's called Repulsor, I think. And somebody said, okay, well, yeah, this company, and they're based in Georgia and Eastern Europe, not Georgia, Atlanta,
not Georgia, yeah.
And so what their website is, you choose which kit you want, and they send you an invoice.
Oh.
They invoice you after. That's not. But if you use like PayPal or something, at least you're protected from fraud. But
right.
Point is that I ordered one. It's going to take a while to get here because I'm sure it's coming by slow boat.
Oh yeah.
But when
unless you paid like $400 for shipping.
No, yeah, because the shipping was like $5 or $6.
Yeah, it's coming next year.
Yeah, this is fine because it gives me time to. That's going to be my next big project for the channel. And if it works, it's cool, and I'll put it on my shelf. And if it doesn't, well, at least everybody else in the world will know. This guy is mostly his hair. Actually, I put a little bit more yellow highlights on
for his hair.
Yeah, and I left the everything down near the scalp is dark
because I thought what, this guy deserves an anime hair color.
Yes.
He deserves to be an anime character. That whole pose with his arms out, like he's doing some grandiose thing. Yeah, he should have a blue or a flame that looks pretty nice. that hair. That's
I'm gonna make a little video about this mini and the other two that I painted. I'm gonna make a short. Paint Minis Live. Hey, we've been you pretty much missed the stream. We've been painting and chilling and talking for 2 hours and 12 minutes. I've only painted 2 minis in the last 2 days, which for me is actually I like the short video format for these because I can just feature the minis that I painted in a 20-second video. I'm going to do that for these 2 minis. And I tell you what, Mr. Cat, I'm going to put you exits. Yeah, when you come up, you should take this one home with you.
You know what? I'll take you up on that because that'll add to the minis that friends have painted for me.
Yeah, you should definitely.
It'll be another.
I'm going to work a little
another
bit
one.
More. Not right now. Sometimes you've got to revisit them.
Yeah. You can set them aside and let them sit and come back and go, you know what? He needs this. He needs his lips to be a little more,
that's the thing. I want to work on
a little different color, or he needs,
lighten
up
the nose, lighten up.
There needs to be a little more nuance on this thing on his shoulder, or like you highlighted the things on his robe on the shoulder chest piece.
Yeah, I used a little bright.
Because there is something there.
Yeah,
and if you don't highlight it, it won't look right.
Feathers on his shoulders, I highlighted those a tiny bit of edge highlighting on the feathers. I used I took some ochre paint and just lightened it up and just caught like one edge of the feathers, the texture.
Right.
And then I did a little bit more, and then I took some like sepia tone ink and put it on there too to try to catch the tiny recesses.
Oh right, yeah, because that blows into all the veins between the pieces of feather.
Yeah.
So it highlights that there's something there. There's texture.
What I'm thinking about doing, maybe to contrast, I wonder, because he's maroon. I could take a little. I've got some Martian tone, rust red weathering powder. I might put a little bit of that on the base. I don't know if it's the orange might tie the orange together. I don't know, because I said I based them with cork.
Right.
And
Yeah, I saw that. It looks pretty cool too.
Thin, the eighth inch bases, 25 millimeter wooden bases. So I used they're like the wafer thin.
Yeah. So really, it's just a round. It's just a circle made of flat circle made of plastic.
They're from England. They're from Ronelda.
Yeah.
Which is a big wargaming company that's been around for
Yeah, and all their bases are not thick.
No, they're
the way Warhammer and all those are. They're just 32nd of an inch thin plastic, round plastic pieces. They could be tiddlywinks.
No, the thing that bugs me about them is they don't make any bigger bases. They're all
right. There aren't like 1.5 inch, 3 inch, 5 inch ovals.
Yeah,
there's nothing. It's just
cavalry. I've been meaning to put together too, but I don't have any bases for them at all.
Oh yeah, because they need an oblong base
or rectangle bases. Oval,
yeah.
If it's like the old rank and flank games were all rectangle. Role playing games.
Where did I put it? I found two pieces of
bases. Is that what
there it is. Here. This is what I used to put everything on.
Thin bases. Oh yeah, you can use plastic card.
This is what I bought. It's 20,000ths of an inch thick, and I used so much of this to put people on, and I would just make a base. Now I'm drawing a circle in the backside where you can't see it. I would just cut the base to be whatever. I'd cut out a square that they would fit on. I'd glue it to the bottom, and then I would trim around the edges with scissors or nail clippers to make the edge round-ish, and then I'd file it down a little bit.
So this anime girl is on a Games Workshop style base.
Right.
I think it's a Chinese knockoff, but it's thicker. And this guy with the cork and the thin base
makes him the same height.
Well, yeah, it's the same size. It's the same size, the height base. I'd rather make a 1/8 inch MDF. I don't know. I prefer plastic to MDF. I just think there's nothing rational about it. The problem with MDF is I just think it's going to break. Because it's cardboard.
That's the white stuff, right? That's the white.
It's particle board.
Oh, MDF. Okay, never mind. I was thinking of there's a white plastic.
No, not like a. It's not like a.
Doesn't feel as. Oh, I'm gonna go get some. I'll go get it. I bought some
polystyrene.
Yeah, it's polystyrene. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, polystyrene you can use plastic cement on.
Right, but it feels flimsier. Even though it's like 3 times as thick as this, it feels flimsier than this. I mean, you can't break this. This stuff does not break. Right? You can bend it up a lot. I could bend this in half and make a horrible seam down the center. But I would have to bend it back and forth like 1,000 times before it's going to actually break.
Right. I just never. I mean, I know that
the smaller the piece is, the less flex there is. And when it's super glued to the bottom of back in the days, every miniature had its own base built in.
Right.
Before the days when they didn't have bases at all. And so if you cut this stuff big enough, the miniature is not going to fall over, and you glue the small base that came with the mini to it, and then you fill in with, make the texture on the base and fill in, to make it look like there's not that there's a slope outward from the feet rather than like they're standing on a mound rather than they're standing on a plateau.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah. No, that's what I did with a lot of, Yeah, if I filled in the gaps with white PVA glue, white glue, and
Yeah.
kitty litter and sand so that they're standing on a hill.
Yeah, and
And
you just texture the whole base,
I've got
base and extra piece. It works fine, and that's because I have a couple of minis. No, they're not on the shelf behind me. I'd have to go into another room. I have a mini that was
everyone's got their own preference, and everyone has a preference, and no one's wrong but Brian.
Well, I just did whatever worked, and I felt I like this stuff. It's this in a game, in a role playing game. This is less obtrusive than a stack, than the mini bases used in Warhammer.
Right.
They make the miniatures significantly taller, especially when you're working in 25 millimeter, true 25 millimeter, like the old Ralparthas were. You don't want a big, thick, monstrous base on your minis. You wanted the base to be as minimal as possible. There were miniatures.
I think the purpose might be so that you move the mini by the base and not by the mini itself.
That's how war games work.
Right.
And what is Warhammer Fantasy Battles and Warhammer 40K?
Well,
they're war games.
What is D&D? It's a war game.
Same thing.
I tell you what, just an observation. I feel like I can find
Yeah. Okay, in chat. A nerd said tall bases on infantry next to unbased vehicles is worst case scenario.
Okay, that's a good point.
It makes the miniatures look too tall.
Yeah,
it's all about perspective.
Yeah. So I've got a rhino right here that's mostly done. So if I got a rhino and I put the hatch down, the ramp down on a rhino,
and you put a guy on that ramp,
put a base mini on it,
he does not fit. He has to hunch over in half to get in there. And there's supposed to be 8 guys.
Putting vehicles on bases, that's not a bad idea if you can get because then you can make the base into a little a diorama.
Diorama. See, I've seen back in the old days, people used to base I've seen guys that played because of the clear bases. Clear bases are hard.
Clear bases is I can't keep the paint off of them.
Well, that's because you don't base them till the very end. I have minis where I cut the feet off the base and just pinned them through this.
Right.
And super glued their feet and super glued the pin in the hole. And I was using, 20,000 the stuff that were BattleTech antennas that they always set. They always set you like two in each box that had.
That wire is even thinner than floral wire.
And it is strong as hell.
It is.
And so I would use that. I'd cut it and I'd use a pin vise. And I'd drill up into the foot, right at where the ankle is.
Yeah.
That
wire is like carbon steel, man. That's not like a low carbon, basically, paperclip wire.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, that stuff is high quality. Those pieces of wire. Well, it's what Ralpartha used to include as spear shafts too.
Oh, did they?
If you had spearmen, the spear was not connected. They had an open hand, for the spear to go in. And you would slide the spear down through the hand to the base, for like pikemen and stuff. And then they had spearheads that you would put on the end of them. So you would have this super strong, your spear was a super strong wire that wouldn't bend and deform, which you don't want in your role-playing game or your war game.
Right. Right.
And and then they stopped doing that. When white metal came out, nobody
was expensive. They
So I
probably
mean,
got a
those,
discount on it. They probably got bought like a rail car full of it. And when they ran out, they
yeah,
couldn't do more.
yeah, because they were selling. That was back when Real Partha was selling tons of miniatures to, um, Greek phalanxes and medieval spearmen. When they were selling to wargamers
Yeah,
back in the 70s through the 80s.
yeah, I'm sure they ran out of that.
Oh, I expect that somewhere there's a couple of boxes of that stuff still sitting around, and someone's saying, "Hey, where'd you get that from?" "Oh, I bought that from Real Partha when they went out of business." I went by their factory, because they were having a going out of business sale, and I bought some of the molds, and I bought these boxes of spear shafts, and you know,
I know that most of the molds, went to various companies, and they said we looked at all of them. We looked at a lot of them one day, you and I.
yeah,
The old molds that are
that are
reintroduced,
old molds are old.
re. I don't know how I don't know how the molds haven't worn out.
They may have been the newest version.
Maybe, or maybe it's just the low temperature of casting, in pewter and white metal and lead versus casting in something like zinc. Because I know that Matchbox and Hot Wheels molds are notorious for wearing out, probably because casting Zamac is higher temperature than
Probably.
it causes the molds to wear faster.
It really depends on the melting point of your metal and your alloy, because you buy your metal all alloyed. You don't make your own alloy. You don't take some lead and add some antimony and some zinc and whatever your lead, pewter miniatures.
Well, we have, like I said, we know a guy who does that, and next time we have him, next time we're in a stream with him, we should ask we know the guys from Emperor's Choice who own all the Arduin molds,
right?
Who did my my gorilla parrot,
the Squidzilla.
What am I working today? Oh, I just finished. This guy's substantially finished. This was a wizard dude from Warhammer Fantasy Battles. This one's actually going back to that darn cat when I see him again.
I think that the date that he was cast is on the flat where his feet are.
Well, the date that he was cast, but that's or the it's copyrighted 2004, but
yeah, I didn't get him till much. I got him when I was still in Tennessee. Oh, that guy? No, I wish.
No,
this
one.
I'm talking about the wizard.
I think he was from the 90s, but I couldn't tell now because I cut the base, the tab. I cut the tabs off. There's a trick that a lot of guys do with the slotted minis. You cut the slotted base off, and you keep two tabs and you file them down to points. Nice.
Oh yeah, then you put those through the holes in your base.
Yeah, and then you crazy glue.
Right.
And I'm gonna have a little mini video on these two guys that I painted coming up this weekend sometime. I've got to get off the stream because I need to eat something, and then I'm going to get back on Discord tonight for our Friday night RPG. And I've got to do some game planning, or else I'm going to get caught in the lurch. I hate being, unprepared for a game. So I said I'm going to have a couple of videos out this weekend. Just some painting stuff, some more stuff for the mini warm-up challenge. And then I don't know what's going on in the gaming world. I try to do at least one gaming video a week, but I've kind of run dry of topics. I mean, I can jump on the bandwagon and talk about the latest WotC controversy, but it almost bores me now. WotC's in trouble for for using AI art again. And WotC's actually coming out with AI game masters, which is, good and bad, I guess.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to play, but nobody wants to run. Plus, let's be frank. D&D 5e is a hard game to run. It is not set up for game masters. That's the pacing of the game, the mechanics of the game. I think that 5e burns game masters out. So I mean, it's because it's just a race to high level. It gets to the point by about 7th or 8th level where you can't kill the players off if you want to.
Yeah. They're because even if you kill them, you got to kill them 3 times or 4 times. 4 times.
Well,
you gotta get them to negative hit points.
Away, or they're gonna summon a flying horse to take them to safety or something. They're just the players are too powerful.
Exactly.
You can't kill them because even if extra lives aside, and with even if D&D is not Pac-Man, it's just you have to try really hard to kill them because they've got infinite heals and infinite saves and all kinds of magic, and they're just gonna teleport away or whatever.
They even though they're laying on the ground at negative 5,000 hit points, they still get their 3 death saves, and if anyone does anything to gives them first aid or cast any kind of magic healing on them, boom, they're not dead.
So I just think it becomes I think it puts a lot of stress on the GM to make the game actually challenging. So anyway, I don't even know how I got on this topic.
Yeah, Nerd has it right. If you make the enemies able to kill players, it feels like cheating. Well, and the 5th edition changed the calculations for what CRs are. So now, orcs went from a half CR monster to a CR5, and so all the weak monsters are stronger than they used to be, even though they aren't. Yeah. Well, I remember I used to attack back in 2nd edition. Players, when characters would get up to 5th, 6th, 7th level, I'd attack them with like
getting off right now, right? Like, what are you, my mother?
I'd throw just a big mass of low-level critters at them, and it's like, well, why aren't they fighting dragons? I'm like, because in 2nd edition, dragons will kill you unless they're babies, unless they're hatchlings.
Plus, if you play the dragon smart.
Oh yeah, which I did.
Any dragon that doesn't have a whole party of henchmen.
Oh yeah.
Thralls. You got to have all your thralls, right? I mean, a dragon's going to have 30 guys.
Dragon will
hirelings or worship him or whatever, and they're all going to fight for the dragon. They're going to fight.
You aren't
dumb.
If you aren't protecting my lair, I am going to eat your entire family. Okay, we're guarding your lair. Because the dragon can make good on his on his threat.
Yeah, if the dragon has magic items, if the dragon has, the dragon should always have an escape route. A dragon's not going to die in a fight.
I would allow dragons to wear rings by putting them on their teeth.
Sure.
You put the ring on your tooth. What's the difference between that and a lot of rings resize automatically? Oh yeah, this black dragon you're fighting. He's wearing a ring of regeneration, and he's got a ring of protection, and he's got and since they have handsy like paws, they can use wands. Yeah, why not? They have enough.
And they have inherent magic abilities. And they have spells and. Yeah, a dragon should be an absolute terrible thing.
There's another really good comment from a nerd's nerd about 100 or so kobolds laying deadly traps all around the dragon.
Yeah.
There's a there's an adventure. It was a published adventure. I forget what it was called, but it's you invading a kobold lair. The player's invading a kobold lair, and it enforces what we call realism on the players. All the passages are 4 foot tall.
Right.
And there are traps everywhere, and there are murder holes, and there are arrow slits, and so it's all ambush points for the whole thing until you actually get to the, you got to break down this door, and while you're breaking down this door and this passage, they can thrust spears in from the side at you.
Sure.
They can pour boiling oil or flaming oil through the roof on you.
Flood the chambers. That's things that miss out in a lot of dungeon crawls, right? Things like there's what are those things called? A lava vent. Yeah, and sulfurous gas is just pouring out of a sulfur vent. Happens all the time, or a boiling hot water.
Since 3rd edition, dude, the one I'm thinking of came out for 2nd edition.
Absolutely, but
it was a 2nd edition adventure. But it was really designed. To murder arrogant players who think that it's just kobolds, we can take them. Yeah. But like it says, killing 20th level characters since 3rd edition.
No, sincerely, like I said, a massive, what are those like in in Yellowstone mud pots? Boiling hot mud pots. Yeah. What's your 8th level fighter going to do against that? Die.
Yeah, you fall in that in metal armor. Yeah, that's not going to be any fun at all. Your metal armor protects you for exactly 1 second till it heats up to the temperature of those mud pots.
Exactly.
Unless you've got magic air conditioning in your armor, armor that doesn't get hot.
Yeah, mud things like that. Players need to think about things. We got to bring that back.
Well, it's terrain and environmental hazards. Those are 2 things that are missing in a lot of adventures these days. You can't fall off the cliff now. The ledge is wide enough where you can have 3 people walking abreast. Not in the old days where you had to put your back against the cliff and slide sideways along it because there are no, and it's the 1,000-foot drop. And if you fall off, you're as good as dead. And you got to make a couple of rolls to scoot you across.
The 747 and not get hurt.
Yeah. And there are no environmental hazards. There's no, like you said, if you had a crack in the ground where sulfuric, where what's this stuff called?
Sulfur dioxide.
Too much plot armor. Too much plot armor.
Got to talk to like some of the guys that are still doing D&D videos about that. It's
within the culture now that players, the GM has to have permission to kill your character. No, he doesn't. I'm the GM. I always have permission to kill your character. If you want to use the X card, there's the front door. That's your X card. If you're coming into my game, bad things can happen to your character. And they will if you play dumb. If Barbarian Group A captures you, bad things are going to happen to you within, like 12 hours. They're going to do something, and you're not going to like it. And there's nothing you can do about it if your friends don't come and rescue you. And if you're a jerk, they're not going to come and rescue you.
If you're a jerk.
Well, that's how we used to play. That we had a guy. We had in an experience where I was playing in a game, an evil campaign, and one of the guys was a chaotic evil, and he was always doing stupid stuff all the time. Just totally random, totally nonsensical. Didn't accomplish any goals because he didn't have any goals other than to entertain himself, right? Both in game, in character, and as the player.
Right. Because again, you do need to roll to see if you're going to fall off the ledge.
And
into the boiling, into the river of boiling water below. Yeah. Where your character dies an ignominious death.
If you want more story, play a barista. If you want an adventure, then lethality is a thing. Because there are so many people that wanna Mary Sue their way through life as their character, but their character also needs to be 8 ways of disabled, mentally, physically, historically, politically, whatever, challenged. And then they still expect to win.
Combat wheelchair.
While murder hoboing around and then complaining that you're not giving them what they want. Yeah, those people can go join Dan on the bridge. To take a turn of phrase from Legion of Myth.
I was gonna say nice Legion of Myth reference.
Yeah.
Boy, just saying that'll probably get me canceled. Good thing I've only got 70 subscribers. You can't cancel me. I'm already canceled.
I canceled myself.
You can't cancel me. People are only here to watch me make a fool of myself.
That's right.
I'm gonna go get some food. I think Sessions here
to get some.
Is great. Some players want a more story-driven, low lethal campaign. That's great, but it's also great for the you'll probably die campaign. I kind of struck a balance in between. I like to play what I call a more realistic cinema style game, right? I want the cinematic style interaction with my players. When I think about like my influences when I run a game, right? I want X-Files, right? I want Die Hard. But I also want like Flash Gordon. But I mean, I want like a character-driven, story-driven game where there's a very real possibility that if you catch even one bullet, you're going to be rolling up a new character. I don't want to say building a character. I want to say rolling up a character, just a throwback. There's a chance that if you catch a bullet and there's action and there's adventure and there's intrigue and there's fighting.
I almost caught that bullet. He was close. I mean, he was to the point where, one more hit point and he'd have to make that health roll to not die.
Well, that's like 2 weeks ago, we came very close to killing off Shadow's character.
Yeah.
Because he was impetuous, and that's fine. But if you want to play a game where you think that nothing bad happens, but at the same time, like I said, I want the politics and the diplomacy and all the stuff, all the things. I don't want to say necessarily supernatural elements, but I want investigation. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want an investigation game where if you catch a bullet, you'll die.
Yeah.
And that's my style. That's what I dream about. That's if somebody was gonna say, hey, I want to run a game, do you want to play? That's the game I dreamed that somebody would run for me. Yeah, you and Justin, you and all pretty much all this other, like attracts like. And I think that of the people that I see on social, this social media, this brand, these videos, and our gaming group, I think that we're all on the same page. Consent is implied. when you sit at my chair. And I understand the point of these kinds of, safety tools and X cards. They're set up for like gaming with strangers. All right.
Oh yeah.
Some people do have like legit trauma, legit PTSD, phobias, whatever. But like you said, you got to talk about that in session 0, not give someone an X card and say, this is your tool. I mean, if somebody sat down at my table and said, listen, man, when I was a kid, I fell into a hole. There was a rattlesnake. It scared me. I thought I was going to die. I'd say, hey, look, that's cool. I'm not going to have any rattlesnakes in my game. But I don't need an X card for that. It's called don't be a dick. And I have known a few people in my life that have had, mostly, through work, that have had legit trauma. It's like, dude, if you've got legit trauma, I can respect that. But you can't use that as a tool to hijack the game. You can't hijack my game by me giving you a card that you can just raise anytime you don't like something. The first rule of role playing is don't be an ass, right? That's my social contract. I'm going to try to have fun with you, but I need you to respect the sanctity of the milieu, right? You've got to respect the tabletop group, because it's not about you. It's about us. So anyway, maybe I'll make a video about that while I'm showing off these painted videos. All right, but I've been on much too long. I do need to plan supper real quick, and then I'm going to come back for the weekly GURPS game. And if you don't like GURPS, you can kiss my butt. Did you watch that video about the guy that says that GURPS is the best and worst game system? GURPS is the best because it can do everything, but GURPS is the worst because it always feels generic. Did you watch that video? No. I should send it to you.
That is not the game system's fault. That is the settings fault.
Well, it's the game. It's the group's fault.
Because it's not GURPS' fault. The game feels weird. It's the game master, the players, and the setting in which it takes place.
Right.
Those three things. What Max calls the emergent story. You talk about storytelling. People want storytelling. Well, then damn well be involved. Do stuff. If your character isn't doing things in the game and you're just sitting around waiting for a story to happen, you're the problem. Not the game master, not the game.
Still makes me feel guilty though.
And that's why my character is always doing things, because I hate it when players sit around and do nothing.
I'll give you a clue. If you're watching
you to prompt them,
and I do this, if I do this, that means that I am paused.
Yeah.
What is
GURPS? You're waiting for other players to. You
must be talking.
You're waiting for the players to do things.
The shelf behind you. I don't have any books on the shelf behind me. You must be talking to Mr. Cat. Mr. Cat, you have a Fletcher book on the shelf behind you?
I don't know. What book?
I don't know. Book by a guy named I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I've got a bunch of books here. Most of them are older.
All right. So
if you got a title.
Here's the other orange mini. I'm done with him too.
I mean, let's see.
Here, this one's for you, Mr. Paints Minis Live. This is one of the Inquisitors from the Ashes of Faith boxed set. So I really like these. And I wish they weren't so stupid expensive now. It's stupid because they put out the boxed set and ended up selling the Chaos half, and I kept the Inquisitor half. And what I paid for the Inquisitors plus, there were some Tempesta Science, I think, is less than what just the Inquisitors are going for now. No, it's not a book written.
Yeah.
not a book when you move back to scale.
Yeah, when I move back, it stops looking like a book.
GURPS.
There are.
Okay. I'm going to put a video out about GURPS later on.
Where am I pointing?
GURPS is a role-playing system. It's been around for like what, 40 years? Give or take. Give or take.
1986 was when GURPS Man to Man, which is first edition GURPS,
Right.
was published.
What it is, though, Mr. Paints Minis Live, it's a role-playing game. It's a role-playing game in which the game master, with one set of rules, can make any setting, any genre, any game type. It's an acronym. And the worst thing about GURPS is the name. My gosh.
Yeah, it is terrible.
It's an acronym. It's the Generic Universal Role-Playing System.
Well,
and the game, that title is so 80s that the book should just come with a white cover that says Generic Role-Playing Game. That's what it is.
Yeah, it really should.
It is the generic role-playing game. So it's been really prolific. It's in 4 editions, and it really had its heyday in the 3rd edition.
Yes, for IPs.
In terms of the breadth and depth of its releases. Fortunately, since it is universal, 99% of the stuff from 3rd edition is still compatible with 4th edition stuff without too much work.
Even 2nd edition, because when you read the book, and you're like, I don't remember that from 4th edition. Okay. And you read it, it's like, oh well, that's this.
This is why I play. Number one, I play GURPS because Kat turned me on to GURPS. But aside from that, I have a hard time finding rule sets that match the campaigns that I want to play, right? And I made a video, one of my first videos was about the relationship in most role players' heads between system and setting. System as setting, right? And I want to divorce system from setting. I don't think that they should even be associated with each other, but for some wild reason, I still can't figure out. I can't wrap my head around it. But say I want to play a game. Let's just name something. My second campaign. My second campaign is going to be, thanks, nerd. My second campaign is going to be a Solomon Kane style alternate history where the players are Anglican inquisitors that go all around the world fighting supernatural evil. Go to Brazil, fight giant eldritch snakes. Go to Africa, fight voodoo witch doctors. It's all very pulp. It's all very Solomon Kane. It's very Cthulhu. And there's no game system that does that. A system is a tool for facilitating telling a story, not the story itself. Yes, it should be. The system should be how you resolve conflict, right? That's all a game system is. A game system is a way to fairly, to justly resolve conflict between the player and the world, and sometimes player versus player. That's it.
Yes.
So I want to play this game. What system am I going to use? There's not a Solomon Kane role-playing game.
Nope.
And if there is, it would probably suck. So
because it would be 20 or 5th edition.
So I can basically build this system by picking the parts of the rules that I want to use from GURPS, right? I want to use all the sword rules, all the melee rules, and I want to use missile weapons that end at flintlocks, nothing past flintlocks, right? And muskets, no rifles.
Right.
Okay, so that I can do that. I can easily 99% of the rules I need are in the main 2 books.
Yep.
And I can pick some flavor rules out of some of the other books.
And you can the low tech.
Yeah, low tech.
That's in front of me, not behind me.
There's a swashbuckler book in 3rd edition that I can
very
pick
good book
of. And there's some rules on there's some rules on like dinosaurs if I want to use dinosaurs. Point is, I can pick which stuff I use to make the game easy and fun and fits the flavor without without it being without being a D&D clone.
The biggest complaint that you hear about GURPS is it's too complex. There's too much.
Actually, I think that's the second biggest complaint about GURPS. I think the biggest complaint about GURPS is, at least in fourth edition,
you don't have 1,000 hit points by 5th level?
No, it's a lack of modules and source books that you can.
Yeah. You have to create everything you want to do.
Make the world.
Yes.
And people don't want to do that for whatever reason. Okay, so these are the 2 minis that I'm featuring in my next little video. I'm not doing very well with the mini war challenge. I'm not gonna have this table cleared in the next 10 days.
No?
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, so the what people fail to understand is that within GURPS, you use the rules that fit your setting and you throw the rest out.
I know, man. This is like my most popular. I actually have 4 people involved in my stream. Yay! As a corporation, you know you're doing something wrong when people are complaining you're not selling something to them. Corporations don't care what people want anymore. They tell you what you want. They tell you what you need.
Oh, there's a brag from World War II.
All of 101 minis done by the end of this weekend. Yeah, and you know what? That's fine, because like I said, I'm trying to paint characters. I'm not winning any awards, but I want to at least be like this commissar. You know, I really like the way this guy turned out. He's got quite a bit of color and work in it. I mean, I've spent about 2 or 3 hours just on this commissar. Plus, honestly, I can see my skill improving just at the beginning of the chapter. That's the thing. It's okay, Brian. I could be your doormat.
I'm not going to have 1 miniature painted in the last decade.
Well, that's how it was too. I'm glad again. You can talk all the shit you want about Games Workshop. You can talk all this shit you want about Warhammer 40K. But if I hadn't decided on a lark like 3 years ago, like during COVID, to just get on Amazon and buy a box of minis, then I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Yep.
All right, I gotta take this phone call.
All right. Later, man. I'm out. How do I turn this thing off? There's my mouse.